Hey, what's going on, yo? It's your boy JG. They're about to tip off live from Columbia, South Carolina. It's going to be on the SEC network. Colin Murray Bulls. Sounds a very British sound to it. Is going to be their star player today. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming on the stream. We're going to jump right over to our main page here because we're getting ready to go right about now. Again, live on the SEC network. And I'm fired up about this one. South Carolina is without some key players, and the Auburn Tigers are not without any key players. So this is a good thing. And they're going to start off, which is still kind of new to me, Colonial Life Arena. I remember when it was built. I covered some games in the old, I think it was called the Carolina Coliseum. And this opened, I don't know, late 90s maybe? Maybe a little after that. I don't remember. The years get away from me. Usual starters for the Auburn Tigers today. And again, no significant injuries. Chad Bacon Lasagna with his first off-kilter shot of the day. Is there another kind? There is not another kind. We had some super chats that came through. I definitely want to shout out here, including one from the legend himself, Feel Like a Stranger. Says, word up, Drainers, Swoogans, and Tates. Much love, Ward Dam Eagle. Let's beat the Gamecocks for 40 full minutes and not give an inch. Wow, I see what he's doing there. Chad Bacon Lasagna and the Big's gonna eat today. Gonna eat that lasagna. He didn't say that, but he probably meant that. Feel Like a Stranger. Thank you, sir. Also, Cassidy P. Look at this, the Auburn Tigers. Another bucket there. Coming in live from the greater Atlanta metro area. Hopefully he's doing well. And all of you who are in the greater Atlanta area who have been chilly, windy, and a little snowy / icy up there. Not normal. Oh, ambitious alley-oop attempt from the Cox there. Not necessarily used to a lot of ice and snow in the Atlanta area. So hope you guys are doing well. I suspect you are because you and your wife are absolute legends, as has been discussed and approved by the august body of the brain drain world. Yes, indeed. All right, 5-4 is what I've got. I owe the Tigers a splash. And the Cox still working on catching Lamont Paris. Paris, some would call him. I'm sure Henri would probably say it with that perfect French accent. By the way, those of you who are Bunkerites, AuburnSports.com enthusiasts, we did announce yesterday that we have a new intern named Daniel Locke. You may be tempted to call him Lockie. Terrence with us. What up, bro? Says, hey, JGT, I appreciate you putting in the time for us this afternoon. This is not putting in time, my man. This is a reward to be able to hang out with you guys and stream with my e-friends and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Melee, what's up, brother? Says 12 inches of snow still falling here in the North Carolina mountains. I have not been to the North Carolina mountains since I went to reclaim Jeffrey Lee off waivers in 2014. That's a true story. He was living in the mountains there near Murphy, North Carolina. I had never been there. Beautiful, beautiful area. And had a chance to go see one of his friends who lived on the top of the mountain near where Jeffrey lived. Of course, Jeffrey made quick friends with people who lived on the mountain. He's an incredible socialite in a way. I don't know if socialite's the right word. He just makes friends easily. He's a very disarming individual. At least I find him to be that way. Raven says early basketball today. It is a little bit noontime, some would say. Some might say. I had that song in my head earlier today. A little flushky. We're going to give a belated drop for Sir Dylan on the alley-oop, boop, 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 boop. Ephesians, glad to have you here with us again today, sir. Thank you for spending some time with us here on the Brain Drain. Little floater. Little parabolic running floater from, was that Sir Denver? I believe it was. Nice little play there. I like the parabolic shots. Sir Isaac Newton also would enjoy those as well. Nice dunkski. Little dunkage. Peter Dunkage. His name's not Peter, but you know what I mean. I feel like a stranger. I didn't know you lived in Greater Memphis. I did not know that. I will put that into my head. He says he got 8 inches of snow in Memphis 'Cause it's snowing in Memphis. Another off-kilter shot from Chad Bacon Lasagna, dude. I'm telling you, this guy, unbelievable. We're all used to it now, but I think there'll be a time 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when we say, remember how Chad Bacon Lasagna used to always hit those weird shots where he was on weird angles and spinning his body, contorting his body, shots that no sane person would take, and he hits them like pretty damn often. Pretty damn often. Nice rebound there, defensive rebound from Broom, and gives him just a very gentle kind of shimmy shake with his left hand. Oh, drop. Dylan Cardwell with the tip slam. Slam. That was lovely. So lovely. He said he's got 4 early, and he's playing a game here. Of course, he's been playing college basketball for about a lifetime, but it's really cool to see him get better and better and better and better. That was a nice move right there for South Carolina. Defense was good, and Coach Sonny Smith would be proud of the way they defended that, in the sense that it was defended as well as you could do, and they didn't foul. So that's good. That's what you like to see. Miles Kelly from the top, just a hair short on that one. He's part of the Aura team, along with Dylan Cardwell's bro, Janai Broom, and someone else who was not Turtle or Simo. I don't remember who it was. Chad Bacon Lasagna's got that look in his eye right now that he wants to take on all comers. But he picked up his dribble, and so that means he's not actually going to do that. Hey. Why you got to be up on him like that, bro? A rare miss from Janai left-handed inside of 7 feet, but Dylan cleans it up. As far as I'm concerned, that counts as a bucket for Sir Janai on that one. It is time, even though Beppo's not here. I bet you Beppo shows up for us a little bit later. Sorry about that. Even though Beppo's not here, but we will get the hot press stats in a 13-9 game. I have it as 7, I believe. So that's on me. I was running just a little bit behind this morning. I had to get my exercise in despite my physique. I actually go to the gym quite often just to keep the old ticker running a little bit longer so that I can hang out with you guys and just stream a little bit longer. We are going to be, this probably matters to no more than 5% of you, but I think Courtney and I are going to, first of all, we had our first conversation last night, I should say. Yeah, I was going to say this morning, about the return of the bourbon blend, which we are close to, well, not somewhat close to rekindling or whatever. Madison said we could not use her or commandeer her bedroom until she was gone. But technically speaking, right, this is her last respite from school while still a full-time, I guess, well, not full-time, but still a member of this household, because the next time she graduates in May, and then summer she's gone. Like, she's out doing her own thing. So our thought was we can go ahead and commandeer the bedroom and turn that into the bourbon blend studio. And we'll still leave a bed in it. So, I mean, worst case scenario, she comes back and she can just sleep in the bourbon blend studio. So we're talking about doing that. And we also are talking about doing a Tesla channel, which would appeal to even fewer of you. It would be a whole different endeavor, I think. But just for our road trips that we take in the Tesla, these road trip channels do pretty well. And Courtney and I have pretty good rapport. And I've got some pretty good cameras and some ideas on how to edit, too. So I think about starting one of those, too, just for the road trips we take, places we go. There's JPP getting some TV time. I ran the Tesla channel idea by my friend Neil J. from Scotland, and he said we ought to call it, I think it's Tate Tesla Tours or something like that. He came up with a really clever name. I thought that was pretty cool. Cassidy P. dying for a new Courtney's Corner. Solo Tigay says, leaving a bed in the podcast studio, you're sure y'all aren't starting an OnlyFans? Hey, now. My man. Beppo, what's up, bro? I just name-checked you like 5 minutes ago. because we got some hot, fresh stats up. It says most definitely get the Bourbon Blend Studio fully functional ASAP. Gone, girl. Terrence says Teslas are hit and miss for the people I know that have them. For JG, it's been a hit, but I don't have a lot of miles on it yet, so I'm not empowered. I don't think I don't have standing, as the lawyers among us would say, to make a claim there. Chaney gets in. Chaney gets the ball in the bucket. Is he going to be Mr. Bucket today? He was definitely not in the last game, but he was 2 games ago. Chaney's a little bit up and down. Unlike Hayden Harris, who's always up, this guy's a badass. We love this guy. Jumps in with a super chat to say, Cox down, JG. Wait, we like Cox up. Or no. You know what I mean. Anyway, Hayden, good stuff, man. I like the loud and laugh there. It was a damn funny one, though. Appreciate that, Hayden. We always love having you here. I didn't realize that Chaney's bucket was just so authoritative. Well, it sure was. I like it on the replay. That guy who was trying to block it, he made a business decision, and I think he made a wise one because he was about to get facialed by Sir Chaney. Did have a chance to go to practice twice this week. Most recently, yesterday. No, I take that back. Most recently, Thursday, because they left on Thursday afternoon at 6. Janai with a little stick back, guys. This is going to get seriously ugly if they're just going to be allowed to do this all day. I think that's the second chance opportunity. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I didn't really get much out of practice. I mean, I knew everybody was healthy, and I felt like the team had a good attitude about everything, and all that. They were working. They had a few, which I didn't necessarily expect, but I didn't know South Carolina either. They worked on a few zone busters. We'll see if that's something that comes up here. I haven't seen South Carolina in zone yet. I see Chaney driving to the hole, though. Terrence says Chaney gives Auburn some spurtability. Yes, he does. He's a good athlete, really. And he's also a great teammate. This team has a lot of guys that are just kind of in a good mood all the time. Chaney is one of those. Simo is one of those. JPP is one of those. He's in a good mood. Denver's not super reactive. He's not animated, but he's in a good mood. You can tell. He's always giving his teammates high fives. And I would bet you if you asked BP, he would say this is one of his favorite teams to coach, even though we don't know what they can accomplish yet. You know what I mean? Because we're in January, but he's got a team that has a lot of rapport. And I don't just mean the war rapport. By the way, I did see Mike G at practice the other day. I said, hey, Mike G, word. How you doing? Oh, Miles Kelly. Oh, what the heck? Where's my soundbite? Splash. I think that was Miles. I attributed a 3-pointer to the wrong person last game, and I was corrected as I should have been. Feel free to jump in. Now, that's just not good by Auburn there. He gave up a defensive rebound and then a kick out, and then he was able to drive way too easily to get into the bucket, and he hits it and gets the and one. It's just not good enough. Looks like Chaney was trying to tip it out, and Janai got off his feet a little bit on that, so that's just part of it. Oh, Ephesians, great point. Yeah, I didn't even think about Dylan. Dylan's always in a good mood. So you just got a lot of guys that are just positive, friendly people that have a good positive aura. I don't know if Kai would necessarily fit that mold, and Chad is kind of up and down. Generally, Chad's in a great mood, but he can get in a bad mood sometimes. Not necessarily at his teammates. He just kind of gets in a bad mood just in general. Not like he's grumping and grousing. And then Tahad is kind of Tahad. I don't really know how to describe him. He's kind of a live wire, precocious, youngster. He talks a lot. But one thing that intrigues me about Tahad specifically is that when they're going through, I feel like they do a lot of install and practice. It's stuff that I would have a hard time kind of locking in for mentally if I was a player. And he doesn't seem to have a problem with that at all. He just locks in all the time. And anytime the BP kind of quizzes him during practice and says, okay, what did I just say? Tahad knows right away. He's like, oh, you said no need to curl right here. And he's like, yeah. 20-14. I need to update that scope. Janai's trying to be careful here and not pick up another foul after having just picked one up on that last possession. So 16-20 on a little section there, a 1 minute section of kind of poor defense and poor defensive rebounding. Let's see if Auburn can turn this up. Janai obviously sizing up this guy. Little quick left-handed spinner. Right at our limit, though. I would say that does not count as an 80%er because it's always inside of 7, and I think he was more like 8 feet there. Tahad got beat just a little bit on that move, and then he caught up so quickly. He could shuffle his feet so fast. Great effort there by Kai to try to work through that screen right there. Great defense. More great defense from Denver right there. Denver and Kai both just killing that dude. Oh, Janai let a defensive rebound in. And they're going to get another one. Janai threw the ball against the backboard. Glad he didn't get sanctioned for that. This is not, on the defensive end, not good enough right now. It's 3 possessions in a row where Auburn's conceded a defensive rebound, and on 2 of those, they've been able to get a stick back +1, so that's just not good, and BP's going to absolutely railroad them over there on the sideline. Oh, I didn't realize Janai, he didn't really throw it that hard. Nasty, like, what is that, 2 minutes now of defensive effort. Just not good enough. This is what BP talks about sometimes when they just got to stay tight mentally, that sometimes it's a challenge. I think it's a challenge for any team, particularly ones that are really good, that have won a lot of games. They kind of know that they can kind of put their foot down when it's appropriate and kind of push it back out. Get that lead kind of pushed back out. But, you're taking on a South Carolina team that they don't really feel like laying over right now. So there you go. Here's our latest stats. I didn't really analyze our last batch, as the kids say. But let's take a look. You guys know I love assist-to-turnover ratio. 4 assists, 2 turnovers. 2 is actually quite a lot for Auburn at this stage of the game. However, shooting 69% from the floor is not bad. We'll give it an applause for that one. Golly, that's pretty hot. They're 8 of 17, so you can't give them too much trouble. 0 for 4 from South Carolina from 3. Auburn 2 of 3. Auburn is -1 rebounding, and they are a 2 assists, 1 turnover. Usually you would see Auburn create more turnovers than that in a short period of time. Points in the paint, South Carolina's up 4. Wow, that's surprising. 16 of their 18 points are in the paint, so I think you got an idea where they're coming from. And they already have 7 second-chance points. I bet you that's 6 in the last 3 possessions. I am very big on assist-to-turnover ratio. Cassidy P., the esteemed member Cassidy P., is big on rebounding margin, so he's keeping a close eye on that, and he doesn't like seeing Auburn -1. Although we would both agree it's a little early. Could be a small sample size. Well, Alan J. reminds us that Auburn absolutely smashed South Carolina last year, and they may be a little salty about that. Of course, our friend Not Salty might agree on the other side of this, but the scout this week would have been from Sir Chadley. Chad Pruitt looked to be Coach Stephen Pearl, excuse me, was running the scout team this week, and so he was a very vocal member. But it seemed like in practice on Thursday, BP was still running it, and with Burgo kind of helping, and Stephen Pearl for sure involved with the scout. So there you go. I think Maddox was involved as well. He was working with the scout team some. And I remember BP said something really nice about Maddox, who's like their I'm not sure what Maddox's job is. He's kind of like a GA or just kind of an associate guy behind the scenes, does a lot of work. Like he'll do some scouting, he'll do some personnel, helps with practice some. He's just a kind of do-it-all kind of dude, man. Got to have some people like that in your program if you're ever going to be great. Of course, Burgo can do some of that. Coach Ian Borders can do some of that. So, got a nice group. He did mention BP in a press conference the other day about how, the real key to him becoming the all-time winningest Auburn coach, as he did in the last game, Miles Kelly with a turnover. And South Carolina turns it right back over. He was talking about how he became the winningest coach at Auburn, and he did it by keeping his staff, his very good staff, together. And he's done an outstanding job with that. Most of these guys have been with him a long time. Don Properdickin coming in from Holland, the southern part of Holland, in Maastricht. Jumps in and just says support. We appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much for being part of our family here at the Brain Drain / also the Bourbon Blend, which I mentioned earlier. Don, Courtney and I are trying to get that back running now that Maddie is taking her last, vacation, of school. She goes back Monday or Tuesday, or maybe Sunday, whatever, soon. And then we have the permission to take over her bedroom and turn it into the Bourbon Blend studio. I can't really do it in here. This is the Brain Drain studio, so we'll just set the other one up to do that. And of course, we always enjoy Don, one of our Bourbon Blend bros. Also, without a doubt, Cassidy P as well. And Feel Like a Stranger's oftentimes with us there. Terrence says Auburn is playing flat on offense. They were doing fine until about 3 possessions ago. They're still 9 of whatever they are from the floor. They're shooting pretty well. Oh, Denver. Denver gets a stuff. And Tahad Pettiford, no. Cheney with a really nice stick back right there. That is really nice work. Gets Auburn up to 23. He's had 2 of those now. No, Cheney, let's see. No, he had that dunk, and then I thought he had a stick back. I guess it was Broom that had the stick back. This is a great defensive play from Denver. Takes so much, you got to control, your emotions in that moment to have a stuff like that in transition. Oh, Dylan. Nice anticipation on that pass, by the way. Brent Mays says, tired of seeing Pringle. Yeah, I played at Alabama for a while. It seemed like he played some really good ball against Auburn, and now he's at South Carolina, and he's playing pretty good ball against Auburn. So I guess he kind of gets up for these games. Let's see, we got Tahad, Denver. Kai lost his footing a little bit there on the closeout. Oh, gosh. That's really nice defense from Dylan. He got 2-on-1, did the bucket. Didn't leave his feet prematurely. Look at that rebound, too. What a defensive possession from Dylan to get the block and then the defensive rebound later. I'm going to call a block or I call a charge on that, I guess. Was he really set? No, they called the block. Okay. I was like, I didn't think he was set there. Melee says Cheney is like Samson with that man bun. Never cut it. I remember when Cheney came through with his visit, this is back, whatever, a year and a half ago, he had, longer hair. And then the next time I saw him, which is like 2 or 3 months later, he had it was basically bald, not bald, but he had it cut way down. I was like, I didn't even recognize him. And now he's gone back to the longer hair. I'm like, pick a hairdo and stay with it. That's what I do. And he would be like, hey, man, you're an old guy. You're just lucky you have hair. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right on that. That's a good point. That's actually a really good point. All right, 25 for the Auburn Tigers. Those 2 free throws that went splash, splash. Let's see. Tahad, Denver, Cheney, Kai, and Dylan are in there. Kai trying to get some powerful post defense. The bucket goes, but not because Kai's defense was poor, and he didn't foul. South Carolina, another 2 buckets in the paint. What's that, like 80 or 90% of their buckets are in the paint right now. Nice little pass, incisive pass from Dylan. That's a fake. That's a flop. I hate soccer. All they do is flop. Meanwhile, basketball. Flopper. Get up. Baby. Sure went down easily for a 235-pound forward that lifts weights every day, baby. Wizard D is right, though. He says South Carolina came to play today. They did. They're playing. This is kind of life. BP made a reference to this in the press conference the other day. This is kind of life when you're number one. When you're the top dog, you're going to get a lot of great fights. And Auburn actually got a great fight from Missouri in the first game. It's just Auburn was at home, and Auburn's just better than Missouri. But Missouri was fighting its balls off in that game. And then Texas, Auburn got way ahead on them, but Texas was like, you're not going to defame us in our building, and fought like hell to get back in the game. Did a hell of a job. And I think Auburn did a hell of a job to keep them at bay late. Let's see what Auburn. Free throw disparity now currently is 3 of 4 for Auburn, and they're now 5 of 6. So it's pretty close. Yeah, I thought the flop call Brent M was lame, super lame. All right, South Carolina gets another 2 of the line. South Carolina not a fan of pressure on in the full court sense. They're just playing drop back quarter court and just kind of waiting to absorb the pressure. Chad took a fully anchored textbook shot from 3 and airballed it. So we would prefer him take, running one leg takeoff, wrong hand, spinning shots from 35 feet. That would be better. Yeah, Beppo, good point. Says AU gets everyone's best effort, as it should be. Good to be top dog. Those of us who are a little bit older not so fondly remember the years when Auburn was the bottom dog, if there is such a thing. And how things have changed over the course of, 15 years? Or how long has he been here? We keep 11 years, 12 years, I don't know, something like that. I take it back. It wasn't an air ball from Chad. He hit that far lip just a little bit. Looks like Chaney's going to get. They're investigating to see if Chaney. If that's a flagrant foul. I mean, come on, dude. I think he was trying to send a message, but I don't think it had any kind of ill intent out. Beyond just playing ball. Arms weren't extended. Yeah, ambitious. He definitely he was sending a message, but I don't think that's flagrant. Is Turtle fixing to come in this game? This will be the first. Oh, shut your ass about this technical foul, you big baby. Well, to be fair, I thought initially that the guy that Chaney hit was kind of turned sideways, but he's actually facing him direct on, and they did call it a foul. Oh, my gosh. That's really soft, guys. Man. I mean, if you had told me who's going to get a technical today, Chaney would not have been on my list. He's not really a technical type guy, you know what I mean? That's pretty soft technical, though. So the guy was completely facing him and basically interfaced with him, like he was, I don't know, that's Kirk Sampson's son, a student assistant with the Auburn Tigers. Does a little bit of, helps with the scouting effort. As far as just getting some cut-ups together. Yabo, what's up, bro? Says Wardam Eagle, not loving this one so far. Eyes. Yes. And AU Taxman, my man, earlier. I used the word puffery earlier. Thought you might like that one. That is a claim that cannot be proven or disproven. Obviously used oftentimes in marketing. Wow, that was a quick pass and shot from number 21 from South Carolina. Getting too many defensive rebounds. Let me rephrase that. South Carolina's getting too many offensive rebounds. Auburn's defensive rebounding effort not as good as it should be. That ball's out on Auburn. Auburn's got to tighten up a little bit defensive rebounding wise right now. This is not acceptable. South Carolina on the stat sheet that I've got up right now, which is a little bit aged at this point. I bet you they're up to 7 or 8 offensive rebounds, and that's just too many. I feel like you lose something when Janai is usually a very good defensive rebounder, and Dylan is usually a very good defensive rebounder. So might want to get them in there. You've got Janai in there, but might want to get Dylan in there as well. Miles Kelly with just a little bit of a slow closeout on that. And South Carolina takes the lead as the Cox fans lustily show their approval. Oh, AU Taxman's making a reference there. The Carbolic smoke ball case. Is that an example of puffery that made it all the way to a upper court? There he is, Nick Pringle, the former BAMS. Cassidy B thinks it may be time to put Blake Michalek in there to send a message. Oh, man, yes, let him go in there and be the tough, right? Oh, since we've got a timeout, let's get some hot, fresh stats. Let's get them, boys. All right, boys, let's get some pictures. If you guys like airplane. No, don't do it. Thank you. Please populate my stats, please. There we go. All right, hot, fresh stats coming right up. Wow, that was a really nice pull right there. Let's see. Brent says, oh, my goodness, another flop to get Janai's second foul. I'm telling you, I'll never watch soccer. All they do is flop. But basketball's great. They never flop. Just kidding. Look at this. The one that's blowing me away. 10 offensive rebounds for Carolina. 10. That's enough for a game for Auburn. That should be 10 offensive rebounds. You should concede fewer than that in an entire game. Thank you, Beppo, for the alert, sir. I love assist-to-turnover ratio. Auburn is at 4-4 right now, which is really bad for them. And 4 assists on 10 buckets is bad, too. It's a low percentage. You can still win with a low percentage there, but it's not Auburn's usual formula. 9 rebounds to 12, so they're down 3, but most notably, they're -7. Well, I guess that number is kind of misleading, isn't it, if you say that? But 10 defensive rebounds, 10 offensive rebounds for South Carolina. And that's just an absolute backbreaker. Colin Mary Bowles, who's from Bournemouth, England. He's actually not, but sounds like he is. Well, they have 2 guys with hyphenated names. Benjamin Bosmans Verdonk. That guy's definitely from Holland. Verdonk is definitely a Dutch name. I think Don knew him growing up. Or he might have been from The Hague, actually, where Don had a summer camp over there. May have known his uncle or his father. Well, that was less of a flop than the first one. Let's see. Stu Pup notes the assist-to-turnover ratio has been average in SEC play. Having 2 guard starting at point guard is starting to be an issue. And Beppo says 10 offensive rebounds for Cox. Leslie Nope from Parks and Recreation. Yes. Already starting the South Carolina last win against an AP top 2 team. Already starting that BS. Got 7 minutes to go in the first half. They're up by 2. And we're already starting to think that maybe South Carolina's going to win the game. Guys, come on, man. Let's get ahead of ourselves a little bit more here. We're barely a quarter through this game. That's going that way. The official disagreed with me. Of course, I'm in Montgomery, Alabama. What do I know? Yabo says, we're clearly better, so their initial surge is not likely sustainable. I hope. I like that last 2 little suffix on there. I like it. Yabo would like to see some more bacon lasagna. Oh, that's going to be a turnover. Sir Chip made some bacon lasagna the other night in anticipation of making that for some kind of a stream at some point. We can actually have bacon lasagna. which sounded kind of questionable as a concept, but in execution, when he sent me the picture, it actually looked pretty damn good. Of course, you guys know how I feel about lasagna. Cannot have ricotta. I'm anti-ricotta. Denver Jones. Oh, I thought that was going to be a splash key, but it was not. Now Daniel D says we suck. He's trying to do a reverse jinx. I appreciate the industriousness there, sir. Daniel D. Auburn definitely just not playing good basketball right now. This has probably been 7 or 8 possessions now where it's been kind of lackluster on the defensive end. And when they're lackluster on the defensive end, I feel like that's where everything starts. Oh, Chip is with us. I didn't realize you were here. Chip says it was the bomb. And let's see, Yabo says, I made bacon lasagna. Bacon doesn't decrease the quality of anything. That is probably a very true statement that I had never considered, but I think you're right. We love bacon every time, right? Although I was offered bacon-flavored ice cream when we were up in the Northeast, and I said, nah, I'm good, even though I love bacon. But that didn't sound good to me. Although I might have had it, been a little more adventurous, and I might have loved it. Missed opportunity. I should have at least gotten a spoonful, right? Speaking of the spoonful, I decided when I was driving up to Auburn on Thursday, it's Don Staley. The outstanding women's basketball coach. And overall cool person. And for those of you who are of a certain age, a hell of a basketball player when she was playing back in the day. I believe she was at Virginia along with Tammy Reese. And there's Coach Randall Dickey over there on the far right getting a little TV time there. Let's see. Beppo says road victories in the SEC are tough. We need to take their souls in the second half. Chip says, I have made maple bacon ice cream. You messed up, JGT. Thank you for dunking on me, bro. Auburn did get a bucket on that last possession as I was reading the chat. So I am no longer in arrears, so to speak. Wow, that would have been a nice finish. Janai got fouled. Getting that defensive rebound and bouncing it off a guy's head. It's like got hit on the side of the head or something. Let's see. Chip says maple ice cream with bacon and waffle cone bits. See, you come up with this stuff, and I just don't have that ability. So, yes, I will defer to you on these food-related items. I am just now at 52 years old getting comfortable in the kitchen to be able to make some stuff. Pathetic that I couldn't do it earlier in my life just because I was such a goober. I don't know what I was thinking. All right, so this is going to be Auburn's 5th free throw of the game. And he missed it. Auburn just hasn't really been attacky quite as much as they had in the Texas game, or at least in the first 30 minutes of the Texas game. Really extending that defense right here to pressure the ball high, really high. That expends a lot of effort, and he was able to beat Janai off the dribble there. I mean, it's cool that you can move Janai out 15 feet or 20 feet away from the bucket and think you can get a decent defensive possession out of him, but come on, man, you can't keep doing that. Auburn hasn't pressured the ball very much either today, which is unusual. As far as a lot of times they'll just pressure to slow down so they don't have to defend the quarter court possession for the full 30 or whatever. They haven't really done that today. Maybe they feel like South Carolina can get out of it too easily. Auburn's got 5 people in there for that defensive rebound, and they did get it after the block, though. Miles Keller with a little reset shuffle, and got his defender leaning the wrong way, was able to get by him, but could not finish. Had to switch hands to finish and didn't get it done. Chad Bacon Lasagna looking a little tired, hands on knees. May want to consider switching him out at the next timeout. Auburn still playing man. Chad, good help side defense, but did not get his hand on the ball. Yeah, Tim says we got to start getting these offensive boards, man. You're so right. Auburn had a quick, I think, two of the first 4 possessions of this game were stickbacks. One from Dylan and one from Janai, I believe, and then nothing really since. Terrence says JGT Auburn definitely needs to change its attitude soon if they want to win this game. I don't know about soon, but they're definitely going to need an attitude change. And my guess is that Bruce Pearl is going to have some choice words for these young men in the locker room. And he may use some language that would be less than savory for, say, a 10-year-old. Although if that 10-year-old plays Warzone, they're probably used to it by now. Oh, that's going to the hole. Oh. Janai inside of 8 feet. You feel like he's really, really going to hit that, and he's missed a couple now inside of 8 feet today. Maybe 3. Unusual for him. Might be getting tired. He's been in there a bunch. I know he plays a lot of minutes, but you don't necessarily. There is a point where he's playing too many. That was more. Auburn has probably 4 blocks today. There's another one right there. So defensively, you're seeing they've been better the last 2 or 3 possessions. Definitely more enthusiasm. But offensively, still a little bit out of sync. Let's see, they're going head tap, which is a high screen. It was supposed to free Dylan for a ride to the bucket, which the Cox covered. You know, Texas actually did a nice job defending that machination as well. So maybe the book's out a little bit on that particular move that Auburn does, where they run the high screen and then run like an alley-oop or just a direct drive to the bucket on the backside. If you don't have your head up defensively and you're not watching, you can lose that very easily. But South Carolina has been drilled on that particular machination. I'm on the hunt here for some hot, fresh stats. Presented by Taco Bueno, which means good taco in Espanol, with locations to serve you in Tulsa, Fayetteville, and all kinds of areas around the Midwest. All right. Assisted turnover, Auburn still at 4-4, which is not good to go a segment and not change. 4 assists on 11 buckets is way below Auburn's normal numbers. Another number that would very much concern CASA-DP is that Auburn's -6 in rebounding and have conceded 11 offensive rebounds to the Cox so far in this game. Not great. Auburn 11 of 23 from the floor, which by itself is not bad, but at one point they were shooting almost 70%. Now they're at 50%. So it's been a rough couple segments for the Auburn Tigers. 3 of 5 from the line is probably not enough. 8 of 10 for South Carolina. They probably feel like that's pretty good. 1 of 8 from 3 for the Cox. And that's probably, I don't think of them as a great shooting team by any stretch, but if they'd hit a couple more of those, Auburn would be in a nice little hole here. Being down 6 at this point doesn't bother me at all. And, I would agree with what CASA-DP says about the brutalized. I think Auburn is getting brutalized. Giving up this many offensive rebounds is just not good enough. But I will say this team has the reputation of they can make some pretty substantive changes coming out of halftime. Maybe Burgo gives them a little rip. Maybe Coach Bruce Pearl gives them a little rip. Maybe Coach Stephen Pearl gives them a little rip. Maybe Ira could be a guy that calls some people names, calls some people out. Beppo says, hot and fresh, Taco Bueno. Spent a lot of time in Taco Bueno. Was a teenager in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Ephesians says, I love Semo and everything that he's done for Auburn, but that dude can't have minutes in SEC play. He don't get many. He's played 4 minutes this half, which is not much at all, which is tied for the lowest of anyone on the team. So, that's with the exception of the guys that haven't been in the game. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think 10 minutes a game for Semo is fine. He's just such an odd player. He's a great guy to have, but I agree with what you're saying about what a kind of a person he is. But, he's like a wing. He's like a 3 that just can't slash and can't shoot, and he's just an odd player. Travis J, what's up, G? Glad to have you here today. What's up, JG? Was listening in the car and Auburn was winning. I'm watching now and they're losing. I'm the curse. I was going to give you a boo, but why would I ever do that? I'm going to give you positive reinforcement so that Auburn turns it around and you can once again feel like you're the good guy. You're the hero of this story, sir. Dylan, man, I'm telling you guys, you would be blown away by how much time he spends in an empty gym shooting free throws, just trying to get better at this. And he is better because his free throw shooting was absolute hot garbage 2 years ago. And it's okay now, but he misses too many, and he knows that, and he works on it, and by God, he just can't get there. He just can't get there. That's a nice play right there. Auburn in practice was working on that play. Wait, was that Don Staley like kind of patting Dylan Cardwell on the butt right there? That was pretty cool. Did he just make a real good effort play? That's exactly what she did. That's really cool, man. Don Staley's sitting in that corner over there where that ball went out of bounds. And she was kind of complimenting him on his effort there. That's cool, man. She's just amazing. I love Dawn Staley. I mean, if you could have a higher Q score, the only person with a higher Q score I know of is Dolly Parton. Now just rename the Q score concept after Dolly Parton. That would be your Parton score. Everybody loves Dolly Parton. She's just very lovable. Now that is a fucking shot right there, dude. Drop. It's like a 16-foot turnaround, unguardable, dude. And if he splashes it like that, they ought to take it all the time. But anyway. Oh, I shorted South Carolina a bucket. My bad. Great shot from Janai. Oh, and they just splashed one of their own. That was a nice shot right there. Good little set shot. 29-38. We've talked a little bit about Auburn. Solo says, cool. That's assault, brother. I like it. Always got to be on the defensive, man. Oh, here's another turnaround. Oh, my God. He didn't just miss that. Splash. Janai's terrible miss went all the way back out to Hod at the three-point line. He just said, heck with it. I'm just going to put it up right here. I'm going to jersey this bad boy in here, and he just splashed it, so he got Auburn back within 6. Tahad, instant offense. And Yabo loved it right there. Splash. Beppo says Cardwell got a booty compliment. Oh, nice move, man. South Carolina gets another bucket right there. Defense was pretty good. Still hit the bucket from about 12. That's the young man from Bournemouth, England, Colin Murray Boyles. He's actually not, but it just sounds like he should be. That's a hell of a move right there. That little spin, drop the shoulder, left-handed. That's a really nice move. I mean, Janai's defense is good. It's just better move. It's a better move on the attacking end. It's great. Ooh, Tahad got himself in a bad spot, but Miles Kelly bailed him out. And then Miles Kelly got himself into a spot by picking up his dribble for no reason. Tahad panics a little bit with a bad shot. That's a bad possession right there. They don't have a lot of bad offensive possessions, so that was a stinker. Timeout called by South Carolina when they got stuck there. I'm not going to change the stats because we're so close to halftime. GW, you're walking a very thin line, sir. We suck. Season's over. Might as well forfeit from here on out and become Raider fans. Boo this man. Boo this man. By the way, our friend Ian Rappaport, my friend Ian Rappaport, was reporting that there's been a lot of chatter that Ben Johnson may be going to the Raiders. We also fired our GM earlier in the week, and I was surprised by that. Nobody cares, though. If we got Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, I would be fine with that. Let's see, Travis J says, Broom, tonight reminds me of the Yale game. Ball just not bouncing right. I would agree with that. I don't remember him specifically in the Yale game because it's so long ago, but I remember that Yale game just being miserable. Carter B says, we've had several terrible positions on O. Not sure we're watching the same game, JG. Yeah, that's right. In the beginning, I was thinking about Auburn had a really good flow going for the first, 8 to 10 minutes of this game, but it's been a little disjointed here lately. I honestly think that frustrations on the defensive end tend to carry over to the attacking end. AU Texan says, Ben Johnson, dude can fly. Absolutely. The Canadian Terror, right? He was really good from Canada, wherever that is. Austin M says, Broom is getting owned, needs to wake up. That was a terrible shot from South Carolina. 30 seconds left on the clock, so Auburn can take its time to get a nice, thoughtful possession here and try to get into the locker room down, 6 or 5, depending on what they do, which I think would be good. 2 halves. Tahad with a nice drive. Was able to finish with his right. Auburn's going to have to defend here for the last 10 seconds and not give up a silly one. Oh, South Carolina with a pass to the front row. Here we go again with South Carolina's last win against the top 2 team. All right, so Auburn's got 0.6. They've got to go full court, so this is just not happening. They feel like Chad usually has the best arm for these, so they'll probably try to get the ball to him and let him heave one, but we're talking about a 1/4 of 1% chance to hit. GW says, JGT loves my Raider takes. Dude, we're so bad. We own ourselves so badly all the time. I just don't really need anybody else dunking on us because God knows we dunk on ourselves plenty. Yabo says, this might be a dogfight. We have experience and character. It'll show in the second half. If indeed Auburn has enough character, you will see that. And I think this team will. They've proven themselves to be a team that can really organize itself quickly. Particularly in the halftime locker room. Looks like Coach Stephen Pearl's drawing up this last one here with BP and Coach Chad Pruitt watching on. So that's interesting. I bet you they're going to try to get this ball to Chad Bacon Lasagna one way or another. Oh, runner 24 was with us. I didn't know. And now he's encouraging everyone to smash those la. Now he's asking everyone to splash those legs. I like it. All right, this ball is not going to be going to Chad since he apparently is either not on the court or he's inbounding it. Yeah, he's inbounding it. All right. I'm curious to see. This was drawn up, so this is something they got an idea here. I got a shot. I mean, an okay shot to Miles Kelly. A shot that I've seen him hit a number of times in practice, but that's different in practice than when you're, on the court in a dogfight like this, or a cockfight, as one would say. It is now halftime with the score 34-40, with Don Staley watching on, encouraging the Gamecocks to play their best ball, as she should, as they should. Hey, we got Damian Fishback, former Auburn Tiger there. Absolute stud. We like him a lot. Calls me at least he used to call me Big Money. I used to be really fat. I'm still kind of fat, but I was 315 back in the day. Definitely not 315 now. All right, halftime stats coming up. Let's see. We'll do a little look at the JGT favorite stats. Then we'll do a little look at the Cassidy P stats. Assist to turnover 5-4 for Auburn. I cannot believe that. 5 assists and a half. That's got to be a season low. 5 assists on 14 buckets is crazy. They're shooting 50%, and it seems like they're just in quicksand down there, and that's really not a bad number. Now, to be fair, they were shooting 70 at one point, so that's a step down, but 3-point shooting's, on par. 2-point shooting is looking pretty good. They are 11 of 20 from 2. No, that's actually kind of low for them. You would expect Auburn to shoot a little better than 60% from 2. And you're hoping for 40% from 3, maybe. 14 boards to 21. That's where Cassidy P does not like to see that. Auburn -7. And 11 offensive rebounds conceded. Now, they had 10 with 5 minutes to go in the half, so they only gave up 1 during the last 5 minutes. So that could be improvement, or that could just be a small sample size. Cassidy B says, again, someone needs to step up. Mac McGadney ain't walking through that door, fans. Chris Porter ain't walking through that door. Mamadou Ndiaye ain't walking through that door. And if they do, they'll be gray and old. Let's see. Travis J says 25% from Broome with 18 on his head. Very unusual numbers for Janai, yeah. Speaking specifically about his shooting, 2 of 8 from the floor, 4 points, 3 boards, 1 block and 1 steal, which is not for a mortal human being, for Dylan, that's not a bad line. Although 2 of 8 is not great. But for Janai, terrible line. He's having problems right now. Travis still feels like Auburn's going to win this game by 7. I thought they would win by more, honestly. But, yes, at this point, I think he'd be happy with a 7-point win. Shit, at this point, I'd be happy with a 2-point win. Colin Murray Boyles from the south of England, 7 of 10 for 18 points, 5 boards. No assists. By the way, their assist-to-turnover ratio is 5-5, and Auburn is 5-4. So, 2 teams that are not turning the ball over very much. 9 total turnovers is pretty good for a half. Auburn with 1 steal is unusual. Auburn's a team that really, when it's playing its best basketball, is getting steals on the defensive end and then pushing forward, either attacking the bucket or hitting trailers, almost doing like a simulated attack to then kick out the trailers. You haven't seen much of that today. I think Miles hit 1 shot like that, but they haven't been in transition a whole lot. Second chance points, South Carolina's up 2. Auburn has 4 points in the fast break. They have 0, but South Carolina's not a big fast break team. More importantly and more vitally, South Carolina's ahead in points per possession, as you would think, by the score. But 1.2 points per possession is a lot for an Auburn opponent. Auburn almost always keeps its opponents under 1 in that stat, and Auburn is almost always in the 1.2 range. So if you think about things in that context, that means that Auburn's offense is more or less on par, and Auburn's defense is more or less not on par right now. And that's kind of what the eyeball shows us. They're 15 of 35, so incredibly, it's because of the offensive rebounding. They're +7 in shots, which, again, is a stat that Auburn almost always leads in a particular game. Now, we're only halfway through, so we don't want to run away with the conclusions here, but BP, one of the things that he really pushes is we're going to take more shots. We're going to earn more shots and take more shots than the other team. And Ephesians is having a hard time looking at some of these plus-minuses with a -9 on Denver's head, a -5 on Janai's head, and a -7 for Semo. Wasn't even in the game very much. But as we talked about last game, we want to caution to look at plus-minus on a 1 game or even worse, 1 half. It can be misleading just because it's such a big stat to me, and you don't want to look at it in too small of a you don't want to tighten in too much on those stats. Yabo says Dylan is giving 110% agreed. I'm counting on Chad Bacon Lasagna. He's the one to strike the match and get the fire going. Fire going. I was trying to think if we had a good sound for that, but I don't know that I do. I promised you guys I was going to get the Boom Shakalaka, which I did not get this week. Bad Jay. Beppo says, let's talk some bourbon to get us through this half. I'm willing to take a sip if you're willing to take a sip, bro. I still got the Bombergers up here. We'll try some of this Four Roses. On second thought, we'll try some of this delicious Maker's Mark Private Select. This is from our friend, I can say it, Brian Daniel. who runs Charred Oak Spirits in Auburn, and I think they also have a spot in Dothan. Delicious, delicious stuff. I am a huge fan of this particular formulation that he got maybe 2 years ago. Might have been 3 years ago now. And he was selling it there at his shop in Auburn, right next to the Kroger's. And I got to be careful because I think this is the last bottle I got. I bought like 3 of them from him. Yeah, I bought like 3 of them. Let's see. Donnie wants to know if CBM is kicking the coaches out of the locker room again to give them his own pep talk, so to speak. Probably in a lot of Spanish words being thrown around, a lot of puta. Possibly. D-Lucky says defense and rebounding. Definitely, that's the key. I'd put it in the other order, but I think those are the 2 big elements right now. 11 offensive rebounds conceded is just unspeakable for an Auburn team that generally rebounds very well. Melee says that Quinn Ewers looks like Dwight Schrute's cousin Mose. Kind of does, actually. Curiously, Mose, in real life, is the guy who wrote the show and also was a key element in Parks and Rec as well. Let's see. Beppo says Maker's Mark Private Select. Got to get that. I don't think you can get this one anymore because I think he ran out a while ago. But there are a lot of other ones. A lot of other folks do that, and some of those formulations are terrific. Kind of have a love-hate. Well, I wasn't ready for that one. Kind of a love-hate relationship with Makers. In college, we used to drink it all the time because it was like at that time. This is the early '90s in Kentucky. There weren't a lot of bourbons the way there are now. You would just have like 10 or 15 available to you, and so we would drink a lot of Maker's Mark, which was red wax as it is now. They used to have a gold wax version, which is a little bit higher proof, which they don't do anymore. Michael Schur, that's exactly it, AU Taxman. Thank you for reminding me of his name. That's the guy who plays Mose. And I think I saw his name pop up on another show that Maddie and Cordy were watching. I think it's I don't remember these shows. I don't remember what they're called, but it was like a medical show, and it had a similar style to The Office. I'm sorry, The Office. I'm sorry, yeah, The Office, of course, and Parks and Rec. Let's see. Pocket Watch says, just finished Tocqueville reading group Zoom while watching family at elementary school basketball league. How much are we winning by? My God. That is an incredibly intelligent comment right there. I don't even know what Tocqueville is, but I bet it's really, really interesting. I bet it's highbrow. We are winning by -6. Tim says, I wouldn't afford Makers in college. Was drinking the stuff you could kick off the bottom shelf, probably a little Wild Turkey at that time. Wild Turkey's kind of taking a step up in a way. If you were drinking true bottom shelf, like my father-in-law used to drink, that would be Kentucky Gentleman or Kentucky Tavern, which we called KT. Oh, BRT says he did the Inside Man. That must be what it is because we've been watching the shit out of that. Literally, I very rarely say this, but the last episode, not the last one in their show, but the last one I saw, made me cry. Terrific show. I think part of the reason that show resonates with me is because my mom was in an assisted living facility, which that show is set in. And some of those tales or situations that are going on are extremely relatable. I saw some of that stuff going down. And particularly the one where the lady was kind of losing her memory. She was kind of falling into the throes of dementia. And everybody was like backing away from her and not interacting with her. I've seen that happen. I've seen that happen to my mom. She was that person. She was that girl. And so I know how painful that can be. That's the funny thing about that show is if you've lived that life, which I bet Ben may have because he's about my age, you know how real that stuff is. Matt says, where is Evan Williams in that world today? I think that particularly is it the small batch that retails around 25-ish, 23-ish? That's a bottom shelf bourbon that's pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. Oh, my God. Ephesians says his uncle was a Lord Calvert guy straight out of the golf bag in the 100-degree weather. That is a man right there. That is a man. Lord Calvert. That is absolutely bottom of the barrel. The worst you can possibly get at retail. Yeah, BRT says my dad. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. You know what it's like then. And the show is done in a way. I'm not trying to tear the show down because it's actually a really cool, upbeat, happy show, but it tackles some of those kind of difficult things that go on in assisted living or independent living, but whatever. Abby Kren, my main man from here in Hampstead, says, have to start boxing out and quit making stupid fouls. I completely agree on the boxing out part. Fouling-wise, Auburn wasn't too bad that half. Nine fouls is about average for them, and then 8 fouls for South Carolina, so not a big disparity there, fortunately. A lot of times you see that number kind of going the other way, badly, or more badly, I should say. Is it more badly? Can you say that? Can we say that? We can't say that. Okay, it's a stream. We can do whatever we want. Beppo says Lord Calvert ass. No, it's terrible. If you seriously, man, it's one of those things. Like if you ever anyone, this is an open invitation to anyone on this stream, including Abby Cran. If you see me drinking Milwaukee's Best, you have complete permission to slap me in the face and ask me what's wrong with my life, because that means a lot of bad things have gone on and I need to get my shit straight. So if you see someone drinking Lord Calvert, I think that you should probably have a discussion with them about why they've made that choice, because it is super, super bad. Matt says, I remember Evan Williams being thought of as a low tier back in the day. I still kind of do. Like, I mean, it's certainly not a premier brand, but their small batch is surprisingly good for what it is. But I still would probably rate it a 3 out of 10. It's way better than Lord Calvert, but it's way off some other stuff that you're going to find in the ABC store every single day. Things like Russell's Reserve or even just regular Maker's Mark. I would even argue that what used to be yellow Four Roses, now it's like parchment colored. Small Victory says, what up, fam? Can't hear y'all, but made it to the game. This is crazy. Look at that. Small Victory was concerned about the weather. He lives up that way, and he was fired up about going to the game, but was worried that the ice was going to keep him away, but he apparently made it. Kanuman is with us tonight. We've got the duality of life, which is Kanuman plus Pocket Watch. When you got those two guys together, you know you've got a party. We've also, we have Small Victories is in the house, giving big love to his fellow drainers. Matt N says a step down from Jack. I mean, I only drink Jack Daniels when there's absolutely no other choice, which usually happens when we're in Mexico or Punta Cana. And I love baby races, man. Did y'all see the baby race recently in the NBA where one of the players had his own baby, like racing? It was so funny to me, man. Look at Dawn Staley's fired up. She loves a baby race. I mean, who wouldn't? Baby races are a gift from God. Pat Bradley, who I still hate for no reason. He played at Arkansas. He's from the Northeast. He liked to talk a bunch of smack back in the day. I don't even know how old he is. He's probably late 40s now. I freaking hated him. This is when I was a student at Kentucky, though. So I don't know. If I saw him now, I wouldn't say anything probably. Beppo says Jefferson's Reserve thoughts. I don't like it. I think it's too light. Kind of the way, same thing I would say about Basil Hayden. So I think it's just watery and light and not very good. And it's too much. I've never had a Jefferson's that I thought was really good. They do have a Pritchard Hill version, which was decent. My wife likes it a lot, so therefore we drink it a lot, but it's okay. That particular one. Chip says, working the end of a Four Roses small batch, finished the select and single barrel for the last few Auburn games. Chris M says, someone will put a spoiler in glass packs on a baby. Really ruins the competitive atmosphere. Glass packs. Some babies come with their own glass packs, bro, if you know what I mean. Matt says, nothing better than hating someone for no reason, JG, after my own heart. I had a good reason. He had, at the time, I was a student in Kentucky. He had spurned Kentucky to go to Arkansas, and he was from the Northeast back when Patino was the coach. And so I was like, oh, Patino will get all his kids he wants out of the Northeast. And then Pat Bradley went to Arkansas, and I wanted to slap him in the face. He's a pretty good player, too. And I hated Arkansas back then. I still kind of do, even though I don't have any reason to. And I actually really like Nolan Richardson, which I got to know him a little bit better when I was a sports writer, but I hated him as a Kentucky student. All right, we're back going. Second half. Let's see what Auburn can do. Chad starts off with a weird shot, which is kind of on par for him. But he hits them a lot of the times. He did not hit it that time. Definitely want to keep an eye on Auburn creating turnovers on the defensive end and rebounding better on the defensive end. Let's see what we can do here. Solo Tigre says we need to start on a 16-4 run approximately and take back control of this thing. We got to win the first 4 minutes. I completely agree. And Coach Joe Champy would agree with you on that. Talking about a 4-minute segment and seizing momentum here coming out of the break. He thinks this is a great opportunity to change the complexion of a game. He probably isn't saying that right now, but he would. That's too open of a shot, honestly, and he completely airballed that bad boy. Jeez Louise. Pocket Watch says Chad Bacon Lasagna was shaking someone's hand on the first row during the inbound. That is very on brand, is it not? He's very, very friendly with fans. He appreciates them coming out and supporting the show, the game, the competition. Oh, now that's that little play that they'd like to run. Didn't go down. Pretty well defended, honestly. Passes a little bit off from Chad Bacon Lasagna. So South Carolina drove on the break there, and he had a change of thought right as he was. That's a foul. They're not going to call that, but that was a nice finish from Miles through contact. The dude got down too low, and he knew he had about 4 guys ready to smack the shit out of his shot, and he said he had second thoughts, and it got picked off. The dude took a quick 3, and he thought he had it. He had his hands up, and it barely drew iron. All right, so if Auburn can get a bucket here. Oh, Janai missed. I think he was a little further than 7 feet, though. I'm going to go 8 1/4 on that one. Jesus. God, it's just painful as a basketball fan to watch people shoot this poorly. That guy's name is Usuck, and I don't know. To me, that's kind of disrespectful. They're just letting kids put "he hate me" on the back now. It's bullshit, man. Where are we at in society today? Auburn with a rarely getting beat on an inbound. That is unusual for Auburn. Didn't seem to really be mentally into the play yet or something. All right, Auburn's passing tempo has definitely been better on the attacking end here so far this half. Denver just going to the hole with it by himself. Didn't get a good jump on the shot, though. Seemed a little bit just like a kind of a panicky decision to shoot there. He was kind of like, well, I've gotten this far. I might as well shoot it. Wow, that's great effort from Denver to come down and assist on that post and then get back out for the clear out. That was nice. Boy, Denver with a really good defensive possession there, and they're going to call a shot clock violation. Denver did a hell of a job on that possession right there. A+. To assist Dylan down there on the block and force a pass out, which he then closed out immediately and forced another pass and then got over there and chased his ass. That is really good effort. And there's people on the bunker. Well, there's not very many. Well, really one that tries to equate him to Zep Jasper. Absolutely pathetic, man. Although Zep was a fine defender, to be fair. Janai with a baseline drive and a finish. Nice drive there. Auburn definitely playing with more intention here in the second half. Auburn seems content to let these guys shoot threes, and I think it's a good idea. They haven't hit shit all game, really. I don't like this shot at all. Splash. But he hit it anyway. That's why he's Miles Kelly and I'm JG. All right, 41-42. The Auburn Tigers are racing this deficit in a hurry right now. Yeah, I'm completely with you, Newman. Is the strangest hill to die on, and he just keeps tripling down on it. Like it's like, yeah, well, this guy sucks. I'm just like, he like objectively does not suck, and he's just nothing. I mean, he actually Zep did defend pretty well, but on the offensive end, he just didn't have any consistency or confidence really. But that's not Denver's. He's been stroking, dude, as you know. I wonder who Miles is talking to there. That's going to be a media timeout, so we will go ahead and take a look. Melee says Kilometer Kelly had a great time with that last game. That was fun. Let me get some second half stats up because this has been a nice start to the half for the Auburn Tigers. Let's see. Box scores second half. Yeah, let's go ahead and populate that, if you don't mind. Was up at City Grill last night having essentially a goodbye dinner for Mads. So just going back to school. Did not see Abi Kren up there. Was disappointed that he would be showing support for our local restaurant as it prepares to close or possibly prepares to close. But maybe we'll catch him next time. Or maybe he was in the bourgeoisie area and I was in the proletariat area. Who knows? 7-2 Auburn. This is, of course, second half box score. Assist to turnover 1-0 for the Auburn Tigers, 1-1 for them. But more key in this situation, 0 offensive rebounds for South Carolina so far, and 7 points for Auburn, 2 for them, including 0 of 3 from 3-point range. So that is lovely. USC with a .286 points per possession this half. Now, if they could keep it that way for the whole half, that would be amazing. D. Lucky says, got to double and get the ball out of Chad Baker Lasagna's hands. Can't let him get that deep. All right. GW says, if we call him Kilometer Kelly, can we call Denver Mile High Jones? Hell yeah, you can. Of course. Casa DP wants to know if Kanuman is sipping on anything to get us through this ball game. He says, no, nothing yet. The Four Roses got me kind of thinking. Yeah, the Four Roses got me thinking a little bit. So I'm going to have a little Four Roses. Got the small batch select here. I forget how much I like Four Roses. I don't drink it as often as I should. BRT says, if we change Kilometer Kelly to Kilo Kelly, would people think it stands for something else? Possibly. CMB, excuse me, I read it wrong. We're talking about Colin Murray Boyles from Bournemouth, England. My bad on that. I got a little dyslexia, situational dyslexia. Chip loves Four Roses Small Batch Select, which of course is that's the kind of bourbon that a distinguished man, such as him, would drink, such as me. I also know that he's not speaking up on this, but Chris M likes it as well. Cassidy P says some Stag Jr. and a splash of Ale 81 and a couple dashes of Angostura. So you can go on pop top on an Ale 81. The product of Winchester, Kentucky. And Miles Kelly with a product of Janai Broom's outstanding pass. And we now have a tie game, boys and girls. Auburn has erased the deficit, playing some good basketball right now. As I say that, they give up an easy one at the bucket. So, easy one at the bucket. I should say at the rim, shouldn't I? It's going to be a dogfight, peoples. Much closer game than I thought. They're going to call foul number 21 for getting a little handsy with Miles Kelly trying to come around the horn on that screen. That's a play right there that Auburn practiced specifically for this game. Talking about that little pick and roll roller, backside roller with Janai to Miles Kelly in that case. It's a nice pass from Chad Bacon Lasagna. And then Chaney with a nice little flipper, but did not extend the arm. So if you don't extend the arm, they're not going to call that very often. Is able to get himself a little bit of space, pulls up and drains the J. It's a nice play right there. Let's see. Chip says, JGT, throw those bacon lasagna picks up during a break at some point. I will try to run those down, sir. Let me see if I can find one real quick before. Oh. Look at this. I got a little picture coming in from Cassidy P passed me one along. Let's take a look at this. Oh, sorry. It takes up the whole screen. My bad on that one. This is what Cassidy P's drinking on. As he mentioned earlier, he's got the Ale 81, the Stag Junior, and the Angostura Bitters. I don't know what we would call that drink, but it sure is a nice photograph. And I have not seen an Ale 81 in the flesh in a long time, bro. I did my internship at the Winchester Sun, which is just a few miles down the road from the Ale 81 bottling plant. As I tell that story, the Cocks get another drive inside, and oh boy, someone looks to be hurt. Someone of the Auburn persuasion. Looks like whoever it is was grabbing shin or ankle. Last time I saw an Auburn Tiger get hurt at South Carolina was not good. It was Anthony McLemore on the other end of the court. All right, looks like whoever it is got up because BP aborted his walk to the other end. It's a nice-looking beverage right there, sir. Thanks for sharing that shot. It's got everybody thirsty. Okay, we're thinking it's Janai. But BP was walking over there, and then he stopped. At least he's up. You know, I mean, he's not up on his feet, but he's like sitting up. Looks like that's Clark, their outstanding trainer, who's kind of down there probing the ankle and trying to figure out what he's dealing with. Looks like just kind of a random, you know, it was a rebounding situation. I think he just stepped on someone's ankle. Yeah, he landed on a teammate's ankle. Actually, it was Chaney. You know, this is I don't bring this up because I never played basketball in college. I'm just a screwball that, oh, Jesus, guys, that hurts. I'm just a guy that, you know, plays terrible basketball, but I always wear ankle braces just to make sure I don't have a rollover like that. And I wonder why sometimes basketball players don't do that more often. Oh, Clark's calling for people to come over. There's Damon coming over, Auburn's director of, I don't know, athletic performance maybe. Looks like that might be Bryant coming over. I'm trying to see who's, I mean, he's certainly not a medical doctor, but he might just be helping him to get off the court. Got Jeremy over there with him. Yeah, Janai's not putting anything on that. I mean, he's not even touching the floor with it. Yeah, it's Bryant Smith and Damon giving him a walk there, with Clark and Jeremy kind of leading the way. The good news is that he's not, you know, he's got to be careful there. That's tough, guys. Janai's a bad man, as you guys know. Let's see where they put him. I don't expect him to come back into this game, but I'll be curious to see if he goes just straight into the locker room or he goes to the end of the bench or whatever. All right, so let's see how you've got to reorganize this. So Chaney's going to have to play 4 now, I would imagine. Yeah, they're just going to go straight into the locker room. Chaney at 4, and then you're going to have Dylan at 5. We're going to definitely have to see more Turtle now. Donnie graciously is willing to donate his ankle. That's amazing to me. Travis J, same thing. He says it looks like a severe sprain to me. That's what I'm thinking, but we'll see how it goes. All right, Tahad. So your post guys at this point are Dylan at 5, There's another grab on Miles Kelly coming around the horn. That's 2 and 3 possessions now. So you've got Dillon at 4, and Chaney's going to have to play de facto. I'm sorry, Chaney at 5, and then let me reset this. Dillon at 5, Chaney is a de facto 4 now, and those will be your bigs. You're going to have to play some Turtle, and Dillon is going to have to play a lot more minutes. But the good thing is that Dillon has been so much better this season about being able to stay in the game defensively without fouling. Remember, he used to foul out all the time. He's been a lot better this year at just learning how to make that adjustment and stay in the game. So that's good. If this was last year or the year before that, I would be very concerned right now. And then Chaney just gives you Auburn takes the lead at 48-47. Haven't had the lead in a while. So that's good. Chaney also hadn't hit a 3 in a while because he had some nasty, nasty threes. A deflection right there at the top from Tahad, and Chad Bacon Lasagna goes straight in for the bucket. So Auburn on a little surge here. Maybe Janai's injury is going to be something that spurs better effort from the team, which I don't really think it was effort, though. It wasn't effort. It was maybe just kind of more solemnity or singularity of purpose. I don't know what they needed, but they've done a nice job here. Really, this half, been playing better basketball. That was a really nice dish from South Carolina. That's really, really good basketball. Because Dillon was about to stuff his shit, and he just dished it to an open man right under the bucket. It's nicely done. All right, this lineup right here is not going to have to make a lot of changes to the way it does business. That's a really nice shot from Tahad. Drop! A step back 22-footer or 21-footer. That's nice. Dillon definitely fronting the hell out of Pringle right now, which takes him out of position to help side defense, and then he couldn't get the rebound because he was fronting Pringle, and then he's kind of conceding position to Pringle for rebound, and then he got the rebound and stuck it back in. So kind of a advantage-disadvantage situation there. I don't like this shot at all. Chad Bacon Lasagna needs to work harder to get a better shot. Now that is a great dish, and Dillon could not finish, but they're going to call a foul on it. So that's fine. Wow, how about that? If I was a player like that, I would say, tell me in a sentence what you think I did wrong there. Like I need a subject and a predicate. I need to hear from your mouth what you think I did wrong. All right, we're going to get some more hot, fresh stats as soon as I can get these populated. I still think we're in a situation where we need a second half box. Interesting game. I thought this game was going to be fairly straightforward for the Auburn Tigers, and I was wrong. To be fair, Bruce Pearl did not think it would be a game like that. He said it was going to be a dogfight, and they should prepare for war. So he didn't take anything lightly. All right. Hot, fresh stats. Coming your way. All right, Auburn +7 in points this half. Have taken 3 more shots, which I know BP likes to see. 8 rebounds to 6 for Auburn, so they have a rebounding lead. They've only conceded 1 offensive rebound this half so far, where they're about 8 minutes in, so that's better. That's definitely a step forward. Assist to turnover for them is 3-2. For Auburn is 3-0, so you love to see that. Passing tempo has been much better for Auburn. So the areas where you really wanted to see better effort, which is certainly defensive rebounding, they've been better. I mean, 6 defensive rebounds to 1 offensive rebound conceded, so much better effort there. And D. Lucky had mentioned, I think, at the break, he wanted to see better defensive rebounding and just defense in general, and I think he's seen what he wanted to see there. So you like where Auburn's trending right now. They've turned this thing around. Certainly now they've got to take that next step and break out in this game without Janai. I really just wish players would wear ankle braces more, but maybe they feel like it kind of crimps their, some of their ability to maybe take off or move, But the thing is, when you get in a situation like that, if you had the hard ankle brace, I'm talking about the hard ones, you would not ever have a rollover. That thing would have to snap for you to have a rollover. I'm just talking out loud here. I'm not a doctor, but my dad is. Cassidy P jumps into the super chat. Obviously want Broom back ASAP. That said, again, I believe this absence forges us, nice use of the word there, and makes us tougher today and maybe longer. Great teams grow when they have to. Let's D up and board. I love it. That's good insight there, Cassidy P. Like, again, you're not cheering against Janai. You're just saying, I'm interested to see what they can do without their talisman, Appreciate that, sir. Chip jumps in with a super chat as well. Janai ankle replacement fund. Hey, that's $4 closer to a new ankle. Robert S. Says probably just a high ankle sprain, maybe 3 or 4 games. God bless. I don't like the idea of him being out that long. Dylan misses another free throw, and it's another opportunity for me to tell you guys he works on his free throw shooting every single day. And I don't just mean the shit in practice. I'm talking about before practice. I mean, I guarantee he's shot more free throws than anyone on this team by a huge margin. And he just can't get – I mean, he doesn't hit everything in practice either, but he just can't get to a point in a game where he's a reliable free throw shooter. It's crazy. I hate it for him because he's doing everything he can. Auburn really fought to get that defensive rebound right there. You cannot fault the he says, watch out, old man. You cannot fault the effort. Thank you again to Cassidy P and for Chip Chips from in-game super chats. Appreciate those guys, fellers. And also, Cassidy P says this can be our Derek Anderson moment. Wow. Referencing the outstanding Kentucky guard from, I can't remember what year that was. It was 97 or 98 when he got hurt. And the team kind of rose up. Although in that Kentucky team, they had a lot of playmakers. My favorite Derek Anderson moment covering him was when he referred to, Auburn gave up an offensive rebound and then it went right into a dunk. He referred to Pat Forty as Pat Ford of Louisville Magazine. There is no Louisville Magazine that I know of. And he was writing for the Courier Journal at the time. It's kind of funny. He was so confidently incorrect when he said that. I don't love the quality of Auburn's shots right now. I do love the effort, but I don't love the quality of the shots right now. Chavis J jumps in. Says replacement for Chip donation to Janai Ankle Replacement Foundation. Thank you, Travis J. I appreciate you being here with us today and for the super chat, sir. I know you're watching this nervously, as we all are. South Carolina playing a whale of a game, at least so far. I mean, Auburn's points per possession this half is still almost 1.4, which is even better than you would expect. You're shooting for 1.3, really. And South Carolina, prior to that possession right there that's shown on the replay, was 0.78. So Auburn's doing what it's got to do, just not this last possession. They're going to give that shot away, and he missed it badly. Auburn's doing a nice job of kind of understanding which players can shoot and which guys can't. The problem has been a lack of defensive rebounding has given them too many second chance opportunities. Little DHO action for Tahad, and he gets a splash. You like to see that. That's another one they were working on in practice. That little kind of high DHO flip so that Tahad can get a deep shot like that, moving side to side. Oh, that's a nice play from South Carolina. They're smart to attack Dylan, honestly. That's what I would do. Here's a guy who's in his career has been foul prone in defensive stances like that. Let's attack him and get him in foul trouble because it's going to be turtle if it's not him. Although I have a lot of belief in Turtle, and the only person that probably believes in him more than me is his mom. That's probably all. Oh, as Andy would say, that went in and out. All right, Dylan coming off. Who are they going to sub in for him? Dylan didn't really argue that foul too much. He must have thought he did it. It's kind of a backside defender on that one. Yes, Turtle is in there, and he kind of tipped that rebound to Chad, so nice job. South Carolina had an opportunity there for a 2-shot foul, which was on Dylan, and they didn't hit either one, so that's a good one. You got Tahad, Denver, Chad Bacon, Lasagna, Cheney playing 4 still. I don't know if he can come out. And then Turtle playing 5 right now. Tahad going for a low percentage 3 right there, which is fairly contested. Cheney trying to go on 5. I don't like this shot at all. Turtle should have had that rebound. He had position. He got his hands on it, just couldn't pull it down. Daniel Peace concerned about the lack of a true number 1 and the absence of Broom. I don't know if that's the problem right now. I think the real problem is you're going to have to play Cheney basically the rest of this half, and that's asking a lot of him. He's a very fit player, though. I mean, everybody's fit, but he's even more fit than most. Oh, nice shot by South Carolina. All right, so they go ahead 56-55. This is, wow, I'm surprised how close this game is. I mean, South Carolina's not a bad team. They're not great, but they're not awful. They're playing hard at home, obviously. Oh, Tahad beat that guy's ass. Oh, yeah. I wish he could have finished with his right hand. I think he would have had a better chance to finish that drive. And he can finish with his right, but he decided to try to flip it up with his left, and I think that took his make percentage from about 40% to about 2%. But he's going to go to the line either way. 7:53 to go in this bad boy. And I got to get some hot, fresh stats up here. Man, tight one. I'm still going to stick with the second half box score here. I still think it's more relevant. What? Wait, what? Don't do that. What are we doing? Okay, there we go. It took me a while to get the box score going here. Stop. I decided this would be the perfect time for me to update my Acrobat Reader. I'm like, can we not do it right now, please? Can you not do that? All right, hot fresh stats right here. Now, this is just second half. Auburn had a great opening to the second half, but it's kind of slid a little bit. Now it's 21-16 this half. Auburn, I mean, look, the numbers points per possession are fine. 1.235, which is almost on par for them. And then 0.842 for South Carolina. So those numbers are on par. Rebounding, Auburn gave up 2 offensive rebounds in this last segment, so that's not great. They've got 3 now. South Carolina does. Rebounding's even, which is better than it was in the first half. Auburn shooting, let's see, only +2 and for shot at. I get thinking too fast. +2 on shots attempted. 9 of 19 versus 7 of 17. Rebounding dead even. 4 assists and 0 turnovers for Auburn, which is great. 4 assists, 2 turnovers for them. So that statistical footprint suggests that Auburn's playing a little bit better than South Carolina, which I think is what we're seeing with our eyes as well. Got to do a little bit better. I'm with Cassidy P. He thinks that boards equal effort, and I agree. It's been better. It's been better, but I think it's going to have to be even better than it's been if they're going to be able to seal this game out. South Carolina is getting the majority of its points through second chance opportunities right now, at least in this last segment. And that 3-point shot that they just replayed was because of an offensive rebound. And yeah, how about that? Brent says, honestly, the defense is playing much better. South Carolina is making some tough shots, but it seems like the hustle plays are going their way. It does seem that way. Been a little bit closer in the second half. But you're right. They're getting certainly their fair share. And in the first half, they got more than their fair share in that one. They were hustling. They deserve it. But all right, so they're going to have to re-rack it with Turtle at 5 and Chaney at 4. I figured Chaney's going to have to go the distance now. And Tahad misses a key free throw there. Ouch. Ephesians says Mississippi State squad is going to be tough. They're playing some good basketball, man. They're a great example of a team that, has kind of climbed into that middle class of the SEC, and they're good, man. Capably coached on an assistant coach level by Kentucky graduate, fellow University of Kentucky class of 98 graduate Scott Padgett, and his wife Cynthia, who was an outside hitter for the University of Kentucky volleyball team many years ago. Well, not too many years ago. I don't want to out her. I'm sure she's very young. Oh, boy. South Carolina with some really good ball movement. They get a nice 3-point shot. It was open, and he splashed that bad boy. So 59 now for them. They're playing some ball. I think that's 2 possessions in a row with a 3 in the same spot. Got Kai in there now playing 3. Chaney with I don't like him shooting threes very much, although it was a decent look, and he missed it, and South Carolina got the defensive rebound. So back at it on the defensive end. This is really asking a lot out of Chaney here to play this. He's going to have to play these last, it's going to be, 12 minutes or something like that in a row. Dealing with Pringle or whoever they got to deal with. That's a turnover, by the way, on South Carolina. Cats D pieces, Scott Padgett in Tampa 1, Duke 0. Absolutely true. Somewhere in my house, I still have a sign that a Duke fan was holding up in front of the press box. On one side, it says something like Shane Battier's your daddy or something like that. And on the other side, it just says UK sucks. Oh, Miles Kelly says, I don't suck. All square at 59. Carter B says, I'm starting to lose hope in a game that's tied. Come on, man. They're not down 15. Or maybe he's talking about something else. I don't know. Maybe he's talking about a peaceful reconciliation between Ukraine and Russia. I don't know. Maybe. That's some really nice passing. Hey, man, that's good basketball. You got to give it up, bro. That's just good. It's good playing. They've been doing that all day. Driving to the hole and dishing, and that's only part of it. You've got to have someone positioned to be able to take that dish and do something with it, and South Carolina is doing a hell of a job with that. Miles Kelly with a little wraparound 3. That's going to go Auburn's way, though. They're really trying to feature Miles Kelly right now. I'm here for it. I think he can handle that load as their de facto, gunslinger. That's a great pass from the dude in the mask. That's really nicely done. Yabo says 2 Mile Kelly. My man. Let's see. Cassidy P says, and to think back in those days, some players were academically ineligible for the fall. Sheesh. I can't remember if Scott Padgett was one of those. He transferred in from somewhere, and maybe it was from Louisville. I can't remember. And he didn't play the first semester that year or something. I don't remember. And everybody thought he was going to be like this great, awesome player, and he was solid. But is that Chaney again? No, that's Kai. That's Kai. Splash. Kai hits a 3, a kind of a contested 3, honestly, but he put it in. This is fun, man. South Carolina is playing great. Auburn's playing, not great, but good enough right now to at least be in the game, And I still think they got more in them. Defensive effort has been terrific, though. Just got beat on a wraparound. Auburn's help side has not been great today. I'm not sure why. Because without Janai, that probably affects things. And you've got Turtle playing 5 right now instead of Dillon. Dillon's a great help side defender. Holy shit, that was an ambitious drive. I don't know what Denver was trying to do there. I don't know if that was even possible to actually happen, but by God, he was going to try to dunk on someone's head. Brent says Broom has officially been ruled out. I'm not surprised at all. Just that he looked like he was in real pain there. I mean, I respect the aggression there from Denver. I do. But I just don't see how that was going to happen. Wow. Mitch thinks it's a technical foul, missed. And Yabo said try to dunk on a tree. That is small victories. I think he's going to be out, brother. I think that's a wrap. I think that's a wrap for Broom today. And they're just going to have to make this, drive this thing home with one headlight is what they're going to have to do here. When we come back, Denver's going to be at the line for shooting 2. I don't know where we're at in the game, like what mile marker we're at. 5:03, so somebody must have called a timeout. No, they called a media timeout. Was it really that far delayed? Oh, no, let me rephrase that. It was a Auburn 30-second that turned into an automatic media timeout. So that's what's going on right there. Decatur Tiger wants to know, how is that not a tech for taking the mask off? I like that. I feel like a stranger says they would have teed us up for that. Well, I mean, they kind of gave, I mean, Chaney wasn't celebrating for his technical earlier, but it was I don't know. It's definitely a foul. I mean, no doubt about that. I'm with Alan on that. Surely they called that, right? Let me see. No, apparently they did not call that a foul because the last play reported to the official score sheet is a block by Verdonk on dunk by Jones D. So, interesting. I wonder if BP's giving him hell right now to be like, guys, he like literally mugged him and knocked him out of bounds. Like, what do you do? Cassidy P says, ESPN 30 for 30 dude says, what if I told you Bruce would retool his championship squad with a focus on 3 and D, playing Tahad and Kai 30 minutes each? Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, D Lucky, I think, is beside himself, wondering how in the world was there no foul call on that. God, Colin Murray Boyle's doing his best like cosplay of number 6 for Texas the other day. Good God. That kid went off and damn near got Texas to a W, and if South Carolina wins this game, it's going to this Colin Murray Boyles dude. He's definitely carrying him there. Chris M with a hot take says, I don't think there was a foul. Oh, I see. You could be taking that either way. You could either say that isn't necessarily an editorial comment on what you thought of it. It was just that there wasn't a foul call. They did call Auburn for blowing kisses. That is true. Not this game, but a previous game. Probably Chad. All right, so ball out. Auburn was working on out-of-bounds plays right here, but just kind of went for a basic inbound on that one. All right, so Dillon's back in without no Turtle. Kai's still in there at 3, so they're going with Kai over Semo, which I support. Nice effort by Dillon to try to tip the ball, I guess, to Denver, who then they just lost it. Wow. Yeah, Chris believes editorially that there was a foul. Should have been a foul called against Denver, but there wasn't, factually. Nice play by Chaney to get that from behind block. Wow, Miles Kelly. Now, this is a terrible shot. I don't understand that decision at all, and I think BP is not – yeah, he don't like that either. He thinks there's a foul. Should have been a foul called on a rebound there, but I do not. That's a really bad shot from Miles. I know he's a confident shooter. I know he feels like he can hit that shot, and he has. We've seen him do it, but just come on, man. We got to work the ball around a little bit. Because now you're on defense, and Auburn's putting some pressure now. This is unusual for them, in this game anyway. Looks like they were just pressuring to slow down. and ease up on the defensive workload instead of defending, the full 35 or 30. Now you're down to like 16. It's easier to defend. He wants that. He wants to try to go against Tahad right here. Miles Kelly's helping him out. Also, Chaney. Auburn is just not going to let anybody get a set shot anywhere near the bucket without hell. It's well done, man. It's well done. It's well done. Let's go ahead and get, I guess we'll stay with the second half stats since it's really just kind of a tale of this half. Auburn's going to have to be, 20% better this half to overcome what they weren't in the first half. And I don't know if they've been quite that good. Now, if Auburn were to lose this game, there'd be a lot of belly aching from the Auburn side to say, hey, you got us without Janai. But we've been watching this game together, Janai was not much of a factor. Now, would he have become a factor? Probably. But I'm kind of with Cassidy P on this. I think this is really interesting to see Auburn fight through this without Janai. I think it's a good character building situation. And I think ultimately that's very valuable because there's going to be days either Janai gets in foul trouble, Janai gets hurt, whatever. You've got to learn how to sustain without him. This is the second half box. That disparity between, I guess you should say Auburn's advantage in points is starting to whittle down a little bit. Auburn had a great start to the half, and it's kind of lost a little bit since then. 28-23 this half. Auburn now has a lower shooting percentage than South Carolina this half. 5 of 12 from 3, which is, not awful percentage, but that's a lot of three-point shots this half. Auburn is +2 on the rebounding. They've only conceded 3 offensive rebounds. If you guys remember, they conceded 11 in the first half, so we see market improvement there. 6 assists, 3 turnovers for South Carolina, which surprises me a little bit. Auburn has 6 assists to 1 turnover this half, which is tremendous. So, Auburn offensively has definitely played better, even though the points aren't there. The passing's been good. The rebounding's been much better. It's just the shooting's been not quite as good, and I haven't loved the shot quality this half. It's been okay, but it hasn't been great, and I think they've been a little impatient at times in situations where they didn't need to be impatient. That last one by Miles Kelly was just awful. To just come down and try to shake and bake and hit somebody from 25 feet with really nobody there to rebound and 20-something seconds on the shot clock is just atrocious. Now, he was kind of saying, hey, that's on me, and it's great that he took accountability for it, but I just don't understand the thinking of that. That's a senior player right there, a guy who's played a lot of basketball in his career. He knows better than that. Of course, the counter to that is if he hits it, everything's good, but oh, that's good defense from Miles Kelly right there. Really good. And he got the rebound as well. All right, so Chaney's still playing 4. Dillon playing 5, although he went down on that last defensive rebound. He's back up now. Chaney, as I said, is still he's the only guy they got really at 4 right now. Him and Tahad, to me, are the most fit players on the team, so he can do it. Chad kind of trying to do a wraparound pass to Dillon on a drive, and you're asking a lot of Dillon right there to kind of adjust to a pass that wasn't perfect, and ultimately it was a turnover. Auburn's defense still very, very high energy here. Oh, good effort from Chaney again. He's just playing great basketball considering he has not come out of the game in probably 10 minutes. He tracked that run really well and just tapped the ball off the dude's head or off his arm, and Auburn was able to get the ball back. Sam Broom is out. Broom was going up for a rebound and landed on Chaney's foot. Hurt his left ankle, and he was kind of carried, I guess, or helped off the court, and he didn't put anything on that ankle, and he went straight to the locker room. That was probably 10 or 12 game minutes ago. I needed that one from Tahad. And so nobody there. He's not available, and they're having to play Cheney. Oh, Tahad almost got a steal there at half court. Cheney's having to go to the distance, and they've been switching out Dillon and Turtle at 5. The rest of the rotations have remained normal. They're going to call a foul right there. Is that on Miles Kelly? Yeah. Terrence says JGT Auburn doesn't have a low post offensive threat right now, and that is a problem. It's absolutely true. That's not really Dillon. Dillon gets a lot of his buckets on stickbacks. And then you've got Cheney, who's a decent scoring option at 4, but he's not really a post threat, right? He's kind of more of a face-up attacker at 4. So you're right. You don't have a guy that you can just kind of back down right now and go in. Although I would love to see Turtle try some of that, but they just obviously don't have full trust in Turtle. And I do trust Dillon, at least to do what he does, you know. Defensively, he's going to bow up. He's got a good rebounder, and he's going to probably get you some hustle points on the attacking end. More really good defense from Auburn right there without fouling. All right, be a little more patient, man. Auburn's come up empty. Both of these teams, honestly, have come up empty a lot of times here lately in the last 4 or 5 minutes. A lot of possessions that, you know, did not result in a bucket or a free throw. It's been a very spirited game from start to finish, really. South Carolina has not backed down. Tahad beat his man. Oh, that was nice. A little hop step. And I got it to Dillon. We talked earlier about Dillon. Gets a lot of points from hustle. That was more like just experience and understanding. As a post guy, when my point guard has beaten his man, let's get into space down near the bucket, and let's just see what happens. And Tahad made a really nice pass right there. Tahad plays like someone who's so much older than he is. Oh, what a play by Miles Kelly. Jump ball. Possession goes to South Carolina, but Miles Kelly, look, man, he's a good defender, and he's played his balls off today. He gets an A+ from me defensively. His effort has been 100 out of 100 on the defensive end. And he's not alone. Cheney is playing his nuts off too. Look at this. That's really good defense, man, from both of those guys. You know, the biggest difference, man, of this team is actually there's several things they're doing better this year than they did last year, but their ability for their really important players down low to stay in the game and not foul out. Cheney has gotten much better at that this year, and Dillon, I don't know as I've ever seen a player at Auburn come this far. I mean, he literally couldn't stay in a game more than 10 minutes 2 years ago, and now they need him now, and he can stay in the game. Huge, because if Dillon were getting into foul trouble now, you'd have to go to Turtle exclusively. And then even more importantly, Cheney has given you meaningful defense. I mean, a lot of meaningful defense here. And he knows, and we know, and South Carolina knows, he's all they got at that position right now with Janai out. So, huge. Desperado, my man, says, oh, man, I'm late. You are late. This has been quite an odyssey here. Just to get you up to date, Janai went out about 12 or 13 game minutes ago with an injury to – oh, that was almost a really incredible shot from South Carolina. Oh, Dillon. Oh, drop. Oh, he got faked out, but he was able to get back up and got a Swansky on that second chance shot for South Carolina. Auburn's now under 1 minute. They've got the ball on a 1-point lead. This is exciting as hell right now. Janai went out probably 13 game minutes ago with an injury to his left ankle, which he landed on a teammate. Oh, my God. I thought Tahad was going to be – that's a jump. Is that going to be a jump? They're going to call timeout. They're going to say that was a timeout. That is a crucial judgment right there. Because I thought that was going to be a jump. And in that case, it would have been Auburn possession with a reset shot clock. Yes, Carter, had he finished that would have been the finish of the year right there. Had Tahad been able to finish that. Came damn close, but ultimately no joy on that one. So right now, my player of the game, I don't even know what the stats are. Chaney has been so clutch this half because with Janai out, he's had to go the distance, and he has been up to it. What is BP doing on the end of the bench? That's an unusual place for him to be with 29 seconds to go. I agree with you, Carter. He thinks that should have been a jump ball. I would like to see like a replay of that. I mean, that's not something that can be changed, but I would just like to see kind of what happened there. We do have a super chat coming through from Donnie, who is not out of his element today. Shane Beamer over there. Dylan growing up over the years was like watching Austin Wiley grow up. That's a good parallel. Yeah, those two guys came a long way, didn't they? I'm with you on that, Brent. He says Dylan's had a tough game, but, man, he's really fought. You never have to worry about his emotional investment in the game, right? We really never have. It was just always for him. He doesn't necessarily give you a ton on the attacking end, but he never could stay in the game defensively. And today he's done a tremendous job of just staying in the game and competing. Let me see. He has played 24 minutes today, which is probably about average for him. 3 of 4 from the floor. Missed all 3 of his free throws. Has 7 boards. And no turnovers. So 2 assists and 0 turnovers, which is good for him. All right, ball in here. This is a really key possession. South Carolina down 1 with 20. Well, basically it's the same shot clock and game clock. Pringle going to try to go one-on-one against Dylan, and Dylan was not having it. I don't understand what the call was there. Was that a foul? I was watching the baseline, and so I missed what was going on ahead of that. Dylan plays great defense here. Forces a bad shot. And did they call a foul on Dylan? They did call a foul on Dylan there. I thought he played well. I thought he played that well. All right, South Carolina just missed the free throw, the front end of the front end of 2. Pringle missed it, so the best he can do here is equalize, and Auburn still got 10 seconds to go, assuming they get the ball in their hands. Now, if he misses the free throw and they get a board, then it's even better, but even if he ties it, they're still going to have 10 seconds to play with. He missed the second free throw. That's going to be a tie, and it's going to be Auburn's ball. Absolutely. That's the right call. That's a tie-up, and Auburn's got possession. And they got Miles Kelly to thank for that possession because he's the one that fought to get the last one. Pringle's going to be hating that, dude. Missed 2 free throws with 9.8 seconds left. That could have put his team up, and then to miss both means they didn't even get a chance to equalize. Like Denver and Chaney both kind of fought to get that jump ball. So Auburn's got possession now. They're going to have to foul, and Chad's a great guy to foul. Guy who recently hit 50 in a row. Did miss one at the end of the Texas game and was just incredulous about it. And they're not even at a point yet where it's a free throw shooting situation, is it? Chad was having to remind Chaney to come down and take the ball out of bounds. So it's going to be Tahad instead at the line. AU Taxman says, F that Bammer. My man. My man. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I did not expect a game this close, but what a game it's been. And I full credit to South Carolina. They played some good basketball today. They fought hard. You could tell they just don't have the shooting. They don't necessarily have a lot of skill guys, but they fight, man. And their low post guys just stuff it at you. They just come at you really, really tough. All right, Tahad hits the first one to push Auburn up 2. Sorry, guys. My bad. I said they went up 2, and I moved the score. God dang it, Jay. Come on, bro. 65. All right, Tahad hits them both. Nothing but net. Big time moment. You think for a freshman, normally you'd say, wow, big time moment for the freshman. I mean, Tahad's proven his mettle over and over and over and over again. He comes through in the clutch, man. Beppo just says trash bammer. I love it. Absolutely. Nobody forgets, man. So let's think about this. What's the situation here? Brent says foul up 3 if he makes it. So Auburn's got 1 foul to give, right? Yeah, Auburn's got 1 foul to give if they chose to. Travis Jace is more clutch than Jared Harper at the line. I'm still mad about that free throw miss in the Final Four. AU Taxman, I completely agree. I think you do put him on the line if you can, but they still got another foul to get there. So, yeah, I think I'm with D. Lucky. I think you disrupt them if you have an opportunity there. With a foul, you got a foul to give, so it's okay. You just want to make sure whatever you do, you don't foul them in the act of shooting, right? If they're going to shoot, let them shoot. There will be no reason to foul here. No reason to foul on a shot. Let me rephrase that. You can foul them if they got possession of the ball or they're dribbling, but do not foul on a shot. Melee, that is truer, as true today as it's ever been, that Virginia indeed double dribbled. Let's give them an applause for that one. Again, I just can't say enough about Chaney. I know he's not going to have a great statistical game, but he absolutely sacked up, playing essentially the last 10 minutes, 11 minutes straight of the game, knowing that the pressure was on and he had to stay in the game and he had to be the guy at 4. And he did it. Whether Auburn wins or loses this game, probably going to win it. That is a very commendable series of shifts for Chaney. Huge. Oh, God. Yeah, okay. Desperado wants to know why not put Denver in. I didn't see what the lineup was, bro. Let me see if Stat Broadcast has the current lineup in. They've got it as Tahad and Denver is what they've got showing here. So the lineup I'm getting is Tahad, Denver, Chad, Miles Kelly as a de facto 4, and Chaney Johnson as a de facto 5, just for this set and this set only. So you got Denver and Miles and Chad as your best on-ball defenders are on the court, plus Tahad's a good on-ball defender as well, and then Chaney is just kind of there to help, you know. He's a solid defender too, but he's not really an on-ball guy. By the way, at this moment right now, South Carolina's missed 5 shots in a row, and they haven't scored a single point in the last 5 minutes and 14 seconds. So if Auburn can get that to 5 minutes and 19 seconds, that would end the game on a nasty, nasty drought. From a South Carolina perspective, from an Auburn perspective, that's an amazing drought. Jesus, I thought that shot was going to go. That looked a lot like the play that Valpo used to beat Ole Miss. Wow. What a great finish, man. Fun game, and I am so with Cassidy P on this. What a character-building win. I mean, to be without your player of the year candidate, dude, this shot looked good from our angle, but he actually didn't even hit. I don't think he hit iron, really. It just got me nervous the way it got bounced over to him. Looked just like that shot that Valpo beat Ole Miss in the, 96, 97, 98 tournament. But this one ends up choked. Auburn goes to 15-1 now. And wow, what a fun game, man. That was really entertaining, dude. Lamont Paris is like, God dang it. Dylan's now got a Band-Aid on his head, an adhesive strip. Beppo says, whew, Auburn win. Brent says, whew, War Eagle. And T-Roy, with a third whew in a row, says, I'll take any road win in the SEC this year. And Melee says, low-key tourney type game. I completely agree. Those are the kind of games that you get in March, right? Where no matter who you're playing, whether it's Oakland or you're playing Monmouth or you're playing Binghamton or teams like that, man, they come out there and they just come at you. And you got to find a way to repel the situation. And in this case, you had to do it on the road. And you had to do it without Janai, which is absolutely edge. All right, I'm about to pull these hot, fresh final stats up, which I haven't even looked at myself. And we will all take this in together. D-Lucky via text expressing his belief that everything was under control the whole time. I know he's kind of teasing, but he's glad to see it. I know that. Super chat coming through from the man with the longest streak in America, Stu Pup, who super chats us every single game. Good game, South Carolina. Please be all right, Broom. I really do think he's going to be okay. Appreciate you on that one, Stu Pup. For another super chat, you always come through. I think he will be okay. He may be out, a period of time. I don't think he didn't break it. So we'll just have to kind of see what happens. He has shown in the past that he's pretty resilient as far as injuries go. So hopefully, he's going to be okay. My guess is that he misses a period, let's say 2 games, which would include a Mississippi State game, which would be terrible because they're good. And you need to be full power, but you can't realistically expect your whole team to go through an entire season full power to never get hurt. Let's see. We also got a super chat coming through from Cassidy P., the man himself. He said, I'd call in this drain, but I'd call in if this drain had it, but I am stoked. We responded, character. Appreciate it, Cassidy P., with another super chat. And also your great insights in the chat have been very much appreciated as well, sir. Hope you and the missus have a great night involved. Trent also jumps in with a super chat. Appreciate that, Trent. He just says, War Damn Eagle. Appreciate that.
Super chat.
Thank you for tuning in and for super chatting as well, Trent. Chip says, get Janai to Tijuana for some stem cell therapy on that ankle. We can definitely make that happen. I know a guy who might be able to help you on that one. Yo, Malcolm's with us today as well. Says we need a dogfight like this. Good experience for the team. Completely agree, Malcolm. I loved what I saw from them, too. They really stood up to the challenge. And if you recall, they had a tough first half. Well, tough last 10 minutes of the first half and got outplayed. Revenge jumps in with a super chat as well. Says, glad to see we didn't lose composure late in the game. Huge to see guys stepping up in pressure situations. War Damn Eagle, we give him one of these.
Wow, what a super chat.
There he is, Revin, coming to us from the great state of Florida. He could be anywhere in Florida. He could be in the Keys. He could be in Pensacola. Could be in Madison. Could be in Lake City. Could be in Orlando. Maybe he and his wife live in the Villages. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Could be anywhere. Also coming in to us, he's usually the first super chatter, but he may be the last one today, but we still love him regardless. He says, Cleveland Brown, what a win for Auburn. I won't be surprised if we're still not number 1 in the polls, but we're in a good place. Hopefully Broom's okay. Stay hydrated, JG. Thank you. I will grab my Twilight Zone Owala with the purple boot. They were arguing about this on Reddit today, what the best color of this bottle would be. I definitely agree with purple. I love purple anyway. I'm even wearing a purple wedding ring today. Look at that. Oh, can't see it. Okay, Cleveland Brown, I'm staying hydrated. I hope you have a great Saturday and the rest of the weekend. And I mean, not that I wouldn't want you to have a great week next week, but I'm just saying, hope you have a great few days there, bro. All right, everybody agrees this was a great experience for the team to be able to pull that one out. Ravin says, the Villages is the dream. Stultz would surely have a place to stay. Look at that. He always says, there's no short. Look at this. There's no shortage of places for Stultz to stay. He has like a whole network of people. He always has somewhere to stay. CDF jumping in with us. Big super chat. Let's give him one of these right here.
Super chat.
He says, hate that Janai went down, but he was getting bullied. Yeah, he was not having his best game, that's for sure. Need the fellas to tighten it up. CDF, who saw his beloved Auburn Tigers compete in person in Hawaii because he may be living out that way, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just takes private rockets out there to see his team when they're on the islands. I don't know. We'll just have to figure that out some other time. But anyway, CDF, thank you very, very much for that super chat and for being part of our family here all the time. Looking at some of the stats here, this is the first time I've looked at them, and we've discussed them. For the final, Auburn finishes with 12 assists and 6 turnovers. 6 turnovers is, I mean, for any regular team, that's amazing. For Auburn, that's kind of on par, but it kind of tells you the excellence with which they pass the ball, the tempo, their lack of mistakes in the passing game, which you really didn't see many tonight at all. 12 and 6 is terrific. 12 assists on 26 buckets is a very low percentage from Auburn, but hey, man, it's wins and losses. It's a scoreboard business, and it's ones and zeros. They got the one tonight, period. That's all there is to it. By the way, for South Carolina, 11 assists and 9 turnovers. Auburn almost always has the opponent with more turnovers than assists, but tonight South Carolina played a whale of a game, honestly. CDF wanted to add that Agent Zero, of course he's talking about Sir Tahad Pettiford, is a stud. He absolutely balled up again. Hit 2 important free throws late in this game to add a lot of pressure to South Carolina, at least strategically. Rebounding. Auburn loses that one -4, but at one point it looked like they were going to lose that by 10 or more. So they definitely bowed up in the second half and played much better. Now, South Carolina had 11 offensive rebounds in the first half, finishes with 15, so my amateur mathematician skills suggest that they only had 4 in the second half, and that is absolutely edge. Second chance points, Auburn ends up -3 on that, but I thought it was going to get a lot worse. And so the second half, Auburn really turned some shit around. Cass DP jumps in again to say no one can lose a broom and be the same because he's a player of the year candidate. We will adjust. We will win. Be excited, y'all. The good news, as he mentioned, it's not just Janai. Now, Janai is a great player, but this team, first of all, this team gets along famously. There's a real brotherhood on this team. And I think in situations like where Janai goes down, they can really band together and play amazing basketball. And I would argue that the second half was really good for them. Sam says 6 turnovers and only 66 points is insane. You're absolutely right. 57 shots for Auburn. So they were -4 on shots attempted, which Auburn almost never is on the short end of that particular statistic. And I know that's not one that we talk about a lot in mainstream basketball coverage, but to me it's important because you got to take more shots, or you should want to take more shots. John Chaney was someone that advocated that a lot, and that was one of his beliefs. John Chaney, of course, the great coach at Temple that I had a chance to meet twice here in Montgomery when he was hanging out with his friend Ben Jobe, who lived here as well. Everybody thinks John Chaney is a defensive coach, and he was, but the big thing was he always wanted to have more shots than his opponent. So there you go. Chip says, did the pug pull the internet? I don't think we're having any trouble, are we? Kanuman says, if we can somehow get him back to 100% for the stretch run, could be a ball of knives rolling down a hill. Sounds like Trey Blackman right there, sir. A rolling ball of butcher knives that Tuberville called him. I really want to see this. Cassidy P thinks John Chaney was a dude, and I completely agree. I was actually broken up when John Chaney died, which was about, 2 or 3 years ago maybe? And I actually called BP, and he talked to me about it. He kind of taught me through it. I was like, man, John Chaney, dude. And he was like, I love John Chaney. I was like, I know we've talked about this before. And he was like, oh, yeah, of course. One of my all-time favorites. I want to look at now we're looking at full game stats here, but I want to look at the second half box. I am really intrigued by this. I want to see how they did in the second half because you guys know I did not like the way the statistics were headed at halftime. I thought the last 10 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer than that, of the first half were pretty much an abject disaster for Auburn in a lot of ways. They were down. I don't remember what they were down 6 at halftime is what it was. And it's not like I was sitting here thinking they were going to actually lose the game. I really didn't think they were going to lose the game, but there were a lot of statistical markers that were not going in a good place. They're leading into halftime. So I'm going to switch this back. And this is the second half box only, okay? So Auburn goes plus 9 points. So they're down 6 at halftime, and they go plus 9 in the second half, which is good. 7 assists, 2 turnovers in this half. Rebounding ended up going plus 2 to the good guys in this half. So that's huge. Second chance points for South Carolina go down to 4 in this half compared to a lot more in the first half. Fast break points is 0, but they're not really a fast break team. Auburn is a fast break team, and they got 9 points off a fast break, so that's good. That's an area where they pushed them. South Carolina 7 fouls to 6. You don't necessarily see that as often, and that's something that wasn't really going Auburn's way in the first half. Wow, so good stuff. Chaney, again, I told you guys, I thought he had a big dick second half. 16 minutes played. Now, I know statistically you look at some of the other numbers and say 5 points, whatever, 2 rebounds, whatever, 1 assist, 1 block, blah, 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 plus 4, plus minus. But 16 minutes, including probably 12 straight to finish the half, as the only choice they had at power forward, and he finishes with 0 fouls and played really good defense. He was in the game, absolutely, giving them hell the whole way, and they were driving at him, trying to get him in trouble, and he did a hell of a job, man. Huge, huge performance, I think, from Chaney, and it's something that I hope that the head coach commends, post-game. Tahad and Miles Kelly combine to be lead scorer. This is, again, just the second half box here, 8 points each. Interestingly, still not a lot of free throws. 3 of 6 for the Tigers, including 2 in a row from Tahad to finish it out. And they only go 1 of 6 from the free throw line in the second half, which is crucial. And Pringle missed 2. He had a 2-shot foul there with like 10 seconds to go, and he missed both, which is just like, yeah, you hate it. No, you don't really. Points per possession for South Carolina is .793, which is, from an Auburn perspective, that's amazing defense. That is definitely the kind of inefficiency you'd like to see from an opponent. So I'll go ahead and cancel this one out. We'll go back to the full game box here. This is for the whole game now, which you've already kind of broken down. One fly says, best point guard we've had since Jared Harper. It does seem like Tahad, like Jared Harper, is better in pressure situations. Like Jared loved pressure. And I think Tahad does too. And they have slightly different personalities, but they don't have differing effects on the game. They both just make their team better in difficult situations. I thought Tahad balled his ass off too. Really, really great second half, honestly, from Auburn. I know that statistically, if you're John from Dubuque, Iowa, pouring over this box score, you're probably not super impressed with the numbers that Auburn put up today, but I love the resilience, and I thought that defensively they played some really good ball today, particularly in the second half when they had to, because none of us liked the way it was going to go into halftime, and Auburn really balled up there in the second half. Letter grades, just kind of off the hoof here. Denver, for me, was probably a B-ish, maybe a B-. Offensively did not add much. Defensively was very good. And didn't get into much foul trouble at all. So probably a B- for him. Janai, not a good game for him. I know he got hurt, but prior to getting hurt, he was just kind of okay. So I would probably give him like a B- or a B maybe. Chad Bacon Lasagna, 8 points on 4 of 9 shooting. 5 rebounds is good for him. Probably a B. Miles Kelly, I thought, was probably an A- today. 14 points on 5 of 10 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3, 6 rebounds. And played a bunch of minutes, 34 minutes, which is more than usual for him. And I thought defensively he played maybe his best game today. So, BP mentioned, I think prior to this game, or maybe it was the Texas game, that Miles has got to be a 3-and-D guy if he's going to make it in the NBA. I think he's got the 3-point down. I think what BP was trying to say, he's got to up his D, right? And he did that today, as far as I'm concerned. I thought he had a really good defensive day and stayed in the game, didn't really get called for fouls, and still was providing that good defensive effort. So for me, that's an A- day for him. Dylan, I thought I would probably give him a B+ today. Thought he showed a lot of resilience. He did foul out, but he played a lot of minutes. Let's see what his final tally was there. 25 minutes, which, I mean, that's fine. This is a rough game inside of 8 feet. He was put to the test a bunch of times. He came out on top a bunch of times. Got 7 boards. Got 3 blocks. Ended up contributing 6 points. For me, that's probably an A- day for Dylan. We'll go ahead and give him the B+. Because he didn't really shine in any particular spot, but stayed in the game and gave you credible defense and rebounding the whole way through. Tahad's probably an A for me. 15 points in 22 minutes for a freshman. I know he's played a bunch, but that's still amazing efficiency. 4 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 5 from 3, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. He hit 2 big ones there late to put pressure on South Carolina, which is great. 2 assists to 1 turnover. That's an A day for me. I thought he played great. Really, really good. Grind thinks that Janai should have gotten a D today. Well, not a good game for him. I know he got hurt, but even then. All right, we're still working our way down. Shagai just didn't play enough. 7 minutes. He had 1 shift in the first half and 1 in the second, and really he hit 1 bucket on kind of I think it was a stick back or a dish close to the bucket. I'm not sure, but really didn't do anything else. I don't know, maybe like a C+, I guess. Simo didn't play much. Turtle played, I think, 2 shifts there to kind of help Dylan stay in the game. So I'd probably just say incomplete. I mean, if they're only playing 5 minutes, and then Chaney for me is an A. I don't care about the numbers. 9 points on 4 of 7 shooting, 4 boards, which is a little low for a power forward. Never got to the line. 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 block. I don't care, dude. He plays the last 12 minutes straight and gives incredible credible defense, good rebounding, stays in the game, doesn't commit silly fouls. And in fact, didn't commit a single foul in the second half, I don't believe. And I thought he was absolutely crucial in this game. So A. Your A performers today then would be Chaney, Miles, and Tahad. I think we're absolutely huge. And Desperado says Murray Boyles. I keep wanting to say Brian Doyle Murray. Colin Murray Boyles had a whale of a game. 25 points for them, 10 of 18 shooting, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, 7 boards. Yeah, he played a great game and still finishes -7. Auburn's plus-minus hero today would have been Dylan at +16, which is amazing. All right, Cassidy P says you got to bounce. I remain steadfast that this win portends growth for our team. We have alpha dudes and a coach who knows the big picture. Absolutely. Cassidy P, guys. What a performance today. Super chatting, being part of the family, and, of course, providing ace commentary, a guy who knows his basketball, and we appreciate you being part of the fam, bro. Have a great day and night with your beautiful bride. CFB Addict and your great family, too. CFB Addict says Solo Tigre is correct. Edge commit for 26, talking about Devin Carter, who I am sure that Caleb's working on, but I don't know that for sure because I've kind of been live with you guys. Let's see if anybody on here, if my super chat's been, or my money chat here. No, I don't see anything on that. Caleb might have just gotten on it himself. Let's see. Frank says for a National Player of the Year, not good for JB to go out and Flag to go for 42 against Notre Dame. That's true. But it's a marathon, not a sprint, Frank, as you know. You Taxman says, I'll take any conference win on the road. Also, we're gonna lose at least one, is what he's trying to say. And that's okay. It's absolutely okay. Again, I believe that Auburn, best case scenario, Auburn wins 15 conference games. The best case. And I think they're going to win. They're going to go 14-4, and I think they'll be right there to win the title. So our regular season title, you know how it goes. But this league's too good. It's too good to think that you're going to run the table on the road. There's no way. Double D's, my man. What's up, brother? I have not seen you on Warzone in a minute. I hope you're doing good out there. I want to play with you at some point soon. Little Warzone action. I don't know if you've been out on the water or not. Miss playing with you and Locked On, bro. Been playing with You Wish lately, which means I've been getting yelled at a little bit, but it's okay, man. That's the only way you get better, right? That's what BP would say anyway. Just kind of taking a look ahead. Let me do a Ken Palm on this. Oh, Jackson jumps in with a super chat. Appreciate that, G. I know you're a big football guy. Glad to see you over here on the basketball show. That's awesome. I know you're a big Auburn guy. You don't care what sport it is. He says, what's our record if Janai misses the next 3 games? Great question, because I was about to jump into that. Thank you for leading me down that path, sir, because I was going to look ahead and kind of see what Auburn had. I know they're playing Mississippi State next. Oh, boy. Definitely going to need him ahead of the Tennessee game. That is for show, for show. But that's still a little ways off. Let me go ahead and pull up this schedule, and we'll kind of talk our way through it, okay? Great timing on that, Jackson. Way to be. All right, so I will now hide the box score for this game, and I will pull up the Ken Palm schedule look here. So they have not recorded the South Carolina game yet, but obviously we know how that one went. The score is up there, and it moves Auburn to 15-1 on the season and 3-0 in the league. So they've got Mississippi State on a quick turnaround inside Neville Arena. Mississippi State's good, you guys. They are way better than they've been. And Chris Jans has got that team playing some really good basketball. They're physical, and it's going to be a challenge. My guess, and I'm not a doctor, I don't even play one on TV, but my guess is that Janai is not going to be available for that one. So it's going to have to be all hands on deck at the power forward spot. I mean, you can't realistically expect Chaney to play 37 minutes. So they got to figure something out. Ephesians is on his way out. JG got to bounce, my dude. Loved it as always, and thankful you were always here. Ephesians, I feel the same way about you. Thanks for always being part of our Brain Drain fam here, both in football and in basketball. Appreciate that, G. All right, so you got Mississippi State. I would imagine they're going to be without Janai there. Georgia away, guys. That's going to be a dogfight too. They've been playing much better basketball, and they just beat Kentucky at home. I would not want to see that without Janai, honestly, because that's an area where Auburn could really have a big advantage. And then Tennessee, even though that's inside, I was going to say Beardy's inside Neville, got to have Janai for that one. But that's on the 25th. There's between the Georgia game and the Tennessee game, there's a full week there. So, I mean, I think you got a shot to get Janai back in 2 weeks. But that might be where you're looking at there. You might have to go the next 3. And I think Auburn would probably lose 2 of those games, honestly. I do. I mean, the South Carolina, well, that's not fair. There's only 2 games. So they beat South Carolina, obviously. So the next 2, I think they probably split that. I think you can probably still beat Mississippi State at home without Janai, just because home is so big for Auburn. And I think you can kind of finesse your way through that. Finesse is probably not the right word there, but I think you can work your way through it. You don't do anything with finesse against Mississippi State. But Georgia, inside the Stegeman Coliseum, inside the Jacuzzi, guys, I know that sounds easy because we're thinking that Georgia's dog shit, which they've been lately. But I'm telling you, man, they've been playing good. And I watched that game against Kentucky, and I don't know, man. They're pretty damn good. Janai would be so helpful in that game because he would give them such a huge advantage in the post, but they're going to concede without him. So it's going to have to be a different general approach, right? I think CBM's going to have a bigger role. Tahad's going to have a bigger role. Denver's going to have to be that spot-up shooter that just kills people that way. And then Miles has got to continue playing the way he's been playing. I thought he played great today, so if he can just keep that up, I think that would be a huge plus. Still going to have to figure out what to do in the post, because Janai gives you meaningful minutes at 5 and 4, and you lose that. And so Turtle's going to have to be a lot bigger. I think Turtle's got a lot of potential left, untapped potential in the attacking end. I really believe that. We haven't seen it from him because he doesn't play that much, but he ain't Janai, but I think he can help you. Let's see. Wizard D says Illinois got beat today, and Iowa State is struggling. Kind of talking about some teams that, some good teams. Melee says UJ is a curtain-lowered game. That is definitely hearkening back to some old days right there, Melee. And they're getting further away every day, right? Let's see. Desperado says we could lose quite a few if we don't have Broom. Yeah, I mean, if the ankle's not broken, I mean, which I don't think it is, we would have known that by now, I think. I mean, soft tissue damage would still be bad, right? I have myself torn a peroneal tendon in my ankle back in 2006, and I had to have surgery on it. Let's see. Chris M. was listening post-game and said that Bruce said, definitely a sprain for Broom, will MRI and x-ray when they get home. So we'll see on that. I tore a peroneal tendon in my right ankle, and in the exact same way that he hurt his ankle today. Landed on former Columbus Ledger-Enquirer scribe Krista Turner's ankle, and I tore my peroneal tendon, although it was not something that had to have surgery right away. I actually had surgery like a year later because it continued to bother me, but and I'm not saying he tore a peroneal tendon. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. I tell you that to explain that I don't necessarily think he's like done, you know. I don't. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's not done. They'll figure out something. They'll stitch him up. He'll be fine, guys. But yeah, this is a tough little run here. I mean, Mississippi State's good. Georgia's good at home. Tennessee's obviously a problem. LSU's not very good, but you're still playing at their place. And then you're at Ole Miss, and I feel like Ole Miss is just like frothing at the mouth to try to get a shot at Auburn. And then you got Oklahoma here, which you're not super worried about. And then Florida is always a problem no matter where you play them. So this is a tough one, man. Kanuman said, I had to have surgery on the same tendon. I snapped it in two. Mine was partially torn. Peroneal tendon. I still have a scar. I bet you do too. Right under the ball of my ankle, so to speak. It's a male plane. That's two balls. Okay, CFB Addict. Now listen, I don't want to say too much about CFB Addict, but if he's talking to me about surgery, we should be listening to what he has to say, guys. He says, I really doubt this needs surgery. If it does, it might be the kind Tua had, and you could play a couple weeks later. Oh, how about that? That's pretty funny. We just got our goodbye text from Henry, who, I don't know, has he announced where he's going yet? I don't want to steal his thunder on that. There you go. Everybody's giving him their big ups. Yeah, so Henry's leaving, and we got a new guy named Daniel Locke who's already on board to slide in there, and he's got a passion for basketball too. So we'll see how he does. But Henry was really, really good. AU Taxman says Three Amigos still holds up. Absolutely. I was watching the My Little Buttercup scene just recently, and it's still so funny to me. That movie came out in 85, I think. It's still really, really funny, man. I still feel like that happens to me all the time, where I do something spectacular and literally nobody gives a shit. Like, and it's exactly what Buttercup's like. They do this great number and nobody cares. All right, looks like Desperado's on his way out. Thanks for another good drain, Jay. Like and subscribe, y'all. Thank you, Desperado. Desperado. Only time I'll sing the Eagles is for you. Stu Pup says, I'll never love another intern like I did Ben Wolk. Oh, God. You bring up Ben Wolk. Oh, such a great kid. Always pull for Ben Wolk. He's over at Georgia 24/7 now, but just an incredible kid. Well, he's not really a kid. He's a grown man now, but just a really good dude. Really, like, when I think back on my career, whenever it's ending, my time with Ben Wolk is some of my favorite stuff ever. He just really appreciates everything, and I love that about him. Kind of tempted to get Henry on the horn, but I don't want to do that without having talked to him about it, like prefacing it or anything. Let's see. Kaduman says South Carolina's Nick Pringle, formerly the Bammer, or you could also say once a Bammer, always a Bammer. who missed the late free throws, was asked if the crowd made a difference late. He said, quote, tough environment for sure. Auburn definitely brought a lot of fans, as is customary for the Auburn Tigers. And remember, travel to South Carolina was dicey as hell because it's been icy and snowy up that way. So, yeah, that really says that's a big statement about Auburn basketball support and just Auburn people in general, which we have said for many years now and has been proven that it's not puffery, that Auburn people love Auburn. And there's a lot of support, particularly for Auburn teams that play hard and win. Incredible support. Well, really, just teams that play hard. I think it's part of the culture at Auburn. Let's see. Big Gab says he's drinking some Toki, Japanese whiskey. I think it's time for Ja'Kai Howard to step up. My argument, I haven't had that. I'm drinking Four Roses today. I like Ja'Kai's. I think he generally makes the most of his opportunities. I mean, he's like, there's just so many people. I mean, Chad's obviously ahead of him in the pecking order, and Miles can play that spot too, and he's better than Ja'Kai right now. And Ja'Kai's a great dunker, and he made a nice bucket today, honestly. But I think they're still kind of working with him to kind of get more fleshed out of him. I think he's terrific. Ravin wants to know who will wear sweatpants to the Christmas party now that Henry's gone. Let's give a laugh for that one. That's funny. Administrative assistant was like, come on, man. You don't even have pants for this? Stu Pup says, this is why we don't get attached. They grow up and leave. Sad, 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 sad. That will happen to you as your kids grow up, although your kids still have a lot of time left in the house, and mine is almost gone and will be gone soon. So it is tough how they grow up. But we've got some great interns at Auburn Sports through the years, man. I mean, Jorge, who's now the baseball SID at Auburn, he's great. And we had Coleman back a long time ago. Coleman does stuff on the PGA website now. And a kid named Lance who was really good this is way back. And then we had Allie, who's, kind of like the standard bearer, honestly. She did a great job. And Nate was here. Nate did a great job. Cristiano was an intern and a full-timer. He did a great job, and they both continue to do great work. Henri is going to stay on the beat. He's going to be at another location. I don't want to spoil it, so I'll wait for him to declare his intention there. But I'm really happy for him. And who else in there? Aren't there more? Shit. Surely we've had more. Yes, Kuhneman says, Allie D, we love Alexandra. She's it's just so easy to cheer for, and a very vociferous supporter of Auburn University as a graduate, and someone who has a very much passion for Auburn athletics in general, and auburnsports.com, by the way. Allie, unfortunately, had to deal with some people not treating her very well when she was at Auburn, which was not me and was not Brian Matthews, which she reminds us every time she talks to us. Strange, because she seems so very easy to cheer for and to support. I don't understand it. I think sometimes some people just get bothered by girls in general. I don't know. That's a whole different show, though. Whole different show. Stu Pub says, while yes, we need others to step up, there is no one on this roster or many rosters who are a weapon like Broom. He is borderline irreplaceable. I would argue he might be one of the most irreplaceable players in the country. And I think that Ken Palm may have not that Ken Palm is any kind of official arbiter of this kind of detail, but I think he has an irreplaceable index, and I think Janai was like 1 or 2 on it. Number 2? Or I don't remember. He's one of them. D-Lucky says you're going to have to win differently. We'll have to play more small ball. Ja'Kai will have to come along, in his opinion, as a scoring or spurtability option at the 3 spot, which is where they've been playing him. So when Chad's not there, you're going to have Ja'Kai kind of step up. You don't want to put too much pressure on Ja'Kai, but I agree. He could definitely be a big part of that. Let's see. Kaduman says, my guess is Henry's going to on 3. I already said it's not 24/7, and he's staying on the beat. He is not going to on 3 either. So he's not going to a paid website. He is not, but I'm still very, very happy for him. He's doing a hell of a job. And he's a very, very bright individual, and he's going to grow a lot in this business, and he's going to contribute a lot in this business. And he will probably just be getting into his prime when I retire. Let's see. Brad E., who I'm so grateful for Brad E. as a friend of mine because he got me thinking seriously about Tesla. And now that I own a Tesla, I am over the moon about driving a Tesla. Brad, of course, gave me a ride in his Tesla, which gave me the itch. He says, well, not the itch, not that kind. Not the kind that goes away with the antibiotics. Says, take my ankle ligament fund. Give him a laugh for that one. Brad is such a giving person. He's willing to put up his ankle, possibly his peroneal tendon, but I would defer to CFB Addict on this. He's willing to give up a ligament for this. I'm hopeful that that's not what it comes to, Brad, because we like you walking upright and normally too. I'm sure your wife would appreciate that, and your kids. Assuming you have kids, of course. Brad says 7-year itch. There we go. Harkening back to mid-teens bunker lore when we had a poster named 7-Year Itch, who was certainly a lightning rod of interest, one could say. Stu Pup says he is irreplaceable, talking about Janai Broom. He hides our lack of a true point guard. Love Dylan, but it's on 4 and 5 offensively with him, or Turtle at 5. That means drives and jumpers are going to be more contested. I'm bummed, fam. Hey, let's just see how this plays out first, Stu. Before it's possible he could be back, a little bit quicker. I got to believe he's going to miss the next game, but Ken Palm interestingly has that as an 85-72 win for Auburn, but that's before Janai's situation, so maybe that tightens up a little bit. Even with Janai, I would have been surprised by a double-digit win. Well, yeah, I would be surprised by a double-digit win over Mississippi State, even inside the Nev. And Chip reminds us, not that Stupa was glossing over this, but that Janai is your leading assist guy, which Brian Matthews, Matt, pointed out on the podcast the other day, which I didn't know. I hadn't really reviewed the stats like that lately. But we have known, just kind of eyeballing the team, that Janai is a tremendous passer and makes a lot of really, really good, thoughtful passes that directly lead to buckets because of how good the passing is, the incisive passing, and he really doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So he's a huge plus. Raven says the rise of A.D. Scott, my man, A.D., who's a great teammate. He plays scout team and gives Janai a good look every single day in practice and races hell with him. And he's great, but he's not going to be able to help. He's just not that kind of player. I say this in the nicest way possible. You got to see this guy trying to drive on Janai. It's kind of a work of art in a way, like in a Jackson Pollock kind of way, right? Depends on your interpretation of art. For me, Bertha Morisot, but maybe for others, Jackson Pollock looks beautiful. That's what's great about art. Let's see. Bartovic, Chris M. says, gave us a game score of 82 against South Carolina. Our worst performance of the year by a lot. Well, Auburn's played great basketball this year, so I'm not surprised because I thought it was kind of for Auburn below average performance. Even without Janai, I mean, they still had to fight really hard to win this game. But listen, I'm with you guys who have been saying a road win in the SEC at this point is always worthy of regard, and I agree completely. So I'm not disgusted by it or anything, but I can see that as a take. I don't know what the next worst performance from Auburn would have been this year. Just kind of looking through. I mean, I thought Auburn was really ho-hum against Monmouth. I mean, they ended up winning by 30, but it took a while in that one. They just kind of had to wait to get going. Missouri was kind of grindy. In Texas, they kind of had a great first half in that game and kind of a weak second half. I don't know. Auburn's just played pretty well all year long. Even the Duke game, they played well. So, yeah, that makes sense. Stu Pep says, this is a good team without Broom. It's generational with Broom, and I'm sad we're not going to see that for a while. I don't. Hold on, man, Stu. I don't know, Bill. Let's see how long he's out. Let's learn a little bit more. Let's see what the MRI says. And yes, Chris said Monmouth was the next worst game. I didn't like that game. I thought that game was very mushy from an Auburn perspective. Just coming back from the break, and it's not surprising that game ended up being what it was. And it's great when you play poorly and you win by 30. But Monmouth's just not a good team, period. Chip says, just got to get into the tournament. The road is easier as a 1 or a 2 seed, but you got to win them all anyway to get where Auburn needs to go. So good point there. Yeah, let's just see what the MRI shows. I doubt the X-ray is going to show anything, but I don't think he broke it. But let's just see. And I know more about CFB Addict than you do, but if he's telling me to chill out on something like this, I'm chilling out on something like this. That's the end of the story. That guy knows just about as much about it as anybody who hasn't seen the scans. Because I'll put it this way, he's probably seen a few scans in his life. Probably. Chris M., continuing on the Bertovic thing, every other game we've played has scored 95 or better. Even the Duke loss was a 97. Yeah, they played great. D. Lucky says, odds to win the championship should be better right now. You should buy the dip. That's my guy right there. Me and D. Lucky and Easterwood sometimes text about the stock market, and I'd love to see D. Lucky using the buy the dip. I hope he bought the dip on NVIDIA. This is not financial advice, but if you guys see NVIDIA at 125, which has got to be close to where it's at right now, that's a buy, guys. Uncle JG's telling you to buy. I know yesterday was a mess. Okay, so NVIDIA was as low as 134 yesterday, but is currently or will open at the next trading on Monday morning at 135. So that's still pretty high. I mean, your boy bought it under 100, but I am but a sports writer / message board moderator, and I didn't buy a ton of NVIDIA stock because I don't make that much money. But whatever I do, I use. Brad E. says, brain train in Wall Street reparked. Yes, I do love talking stocks. Because I love it. I have a passion for it, but I don't have a variety of stocks. I did cut my interest in CMG the other day, though I had to. I'm concerned about CMG right now. First time I've ever been concerned about CMG, but once their CEO left, I got a little bothered. I don't know. Let's see. What else we got to talk about? Next game is going to be Tuesday, another Tuesday night game, back-to-back Tuesday night games, which I bet Auburn hasn't done in a long time. So a quick turnaround there for Mississippi State. I think that's a late game too. I think it's an 8 o'clock tip. Tip. And then you got Georgia on the weekend. Then you got a full week until Tennessee, which I think would be good for this Auburn team because, again, it gives Janai a little more time to rest that ankle and get there. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Anyway, I thought this was a good game. I thought it was a good game to watch, and I thought it was a good game for Auburn to win. Chip notes that they got the 26 wideout commit, which I'll bet Caleb is all over, but I'm not because I'm on the show with you guys talking basketball. So that's good. Continuing to amass talent, which is not something Auburn's had a problem with, honestly. Auburn's had a problem with maximizing the talent they have and finishing out games in football. D. Lucky says, my NVIDIA position has now been secured, one New Year's resolution down. Well, hey, listen, you got in late, but I still think there's money to be made because they are... Listen, guys, we're in an era where AI computing is going to be absolutely edge in the next 5 years and possibly longer than that. And they are in the best position to capitalize on that as such an incredibly dominant player in the semiconductor world. Just got to keep an eye on China. If China ever were to take action on Hong Kong, oh boy. Small Victory says, too much anxiety, but a damn good game. I completely agree. I love the character Auburn showed in that. Without Janai, for Chaney to play his balls off, to Miles had a great game, Tahad had a great game. Tahad hit some key free throws late. And a real gut check for Auburn, honestly. And I thought they played even better with Janai gone. I mean, they were kind of on the ascension when he got hurt. But we were concerned that when he went out, they would slide back down. But they did not. They really continued to build. And I thought they finished the game out very strongly. And there will be people that will say, golly, why did you struggle to beat South Carolina? Geez, they're ass. Hey, you overcome what you got to overcome. Sometimes, just like the Final Four team, man, outside of losing to Virginia in a game they shouldn't have lost, the toughest challenge they had that year or in that tournament was New Mexico State. The first round, they barely beat them. New Mexico State, that whole run could have been wiped out Had they lost to New Mexico State, they ended up beating Kansas, North Carolina, and Kentucky. Actually stole the deed to Kentucky basketball that day. Those guys still haven't recovered from that. It sucks for them. You hate to see it. No, you don't. Not really. All right, well, I guess we'll wrap it up there, guys. I mean, we said it all. Well, I'll tell you what, I will go several more seconds because that'll hit the 3-minute mark. In 3, 2, 1, 3 hours we have now eclipsed. It's officially our longest basketball brain drain ever. Frank G says it looks like we're going to stay number 1 in Ken Palm, which is great. I had the schedule pulled up here, but I did notice earlier looking at Ken Palm that Auburn was still in the number 1 spot, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know if we should kvetch over that because Auburn's going to lose one of these games coming up, particularly if Janai's out of the lineup, and we cannot be chicken little about this, right? You just got to sack up and understand that you're not at full power, and you just got to continue building. That's the key. And I thought they overcame a big obstacle tonight. They played a very, very game South Carolina team. They beat them in their pad, and they did it without Janai in the clutch moments. Stoop Up says he literally almost died watching that 2019 game against New Mexico State in the first round of the tournament. My heart never pounded so hard. I remember watching that game and just being like bobbleheaded because I was like, I can't believe this game's this close, you know. But they literally just, I think that game, the closeness of that game, launched them into playing a much better brand of basketball moving forward. I feel like a stranger says, we know that's a pretty serious sprain. We'll MRI it, X-ray it when he gets back, and hopefully it is what it is. Hopefully that's what it is what BMAT is reporting. So, yeah, we'll see. Obviously, Janai was in a lot of pain, but it's not surprising that he would be in a lot of pain. That's the way his ankle rolled over was, it looked like it would hurt like a mofo. And as someone who rolled his ankle over, and I ended up needing surgery, he may not need it, probably won't. It was very painful. Knocked the breath out of me just for how painful it was. And Frank G reminds us that Jared Harper fouled out of the New Mexico State game, which is very unusual for him. He's a decent defender, but he was definitely one that did not get in a lot of foul trouble because of the way he played and the role he played. For him to foul out of the New Mexico State game was weird, but he came back and balled up for sure in that tournament. So maybe there's a lesson there. Hey, when you get challenged, you kind of rise up after that, and we'll see how it goes. If this Auburn team with Janai now out, and a tough win at South Carolina under the belt, if they can kind of build from that as well. So I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Appreciate all you guys being here with me from start to finish. We got a lot of wire-to-wire people. And that's the best kind of person, really, I think, in brain drain history. Chip's probably leading the way, Stoop Up as well, as far as how many wire-to-wire brain drains they've done. But we're also glad, very, very stoked to have D-Lucky here with us today. Who's like royalty in these parts. Absolute. Well, we got a bedroom in our house named after him, but you know how it goes. Wrap it up there, guys. Have a great weekend. I hope you guys who live north of me, significantly north of me, Huntsville and beyond, get warm and get rid of this ice and get back to living a fun life instead of being stuck in the hizzle. I wonder how Brad's affected up there where he may be living. He may live in North Alabama, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Could be anyone. He could live anywhere. Maybe he's in Wasilla, Alaska. You never know. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. You guys good? What? Why are you watching Rage Against the Machine in Woodstock 99? You weren't even born yet. Oh, that's fair. I do listen to Simon and Garfunkel sometimes. All right, guys, I'll wrap it up. Peace and love. I will see you guys. Let's see, I guess on Tuesday night then. It's probably the next time I'll see you, unless I do a video. But that won't be live, so maybe you'll just watch. Anyway, have a great Friday. Great Saturday. Great weekend. See you guys on the bunker, of course, 24/7, more or less. But wherever we see you. Canoeman. I think he was a wire-to-wire, too, as well today. Anyway, wrapping it up. Peace and love. See you guys.